Hello everyone, how are we all doing tonight? Today I have an absolutely fantastic guest. This is the man who started it all in terms of Iron Warrior cosplay, because I didn't really have a cosplay page before. I just did the occasional steampunk stuff, I did the occasional Ghostbuster stuff and that kind of thing. And then I met David, so he sort of kicked it all off. So I really, really am over the moon about doing this stream with him tonight. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the man himself, the one who started it all, David Roth, Exeter Cosplay. How the hell are you, mate?
Hi, mate. I'm really good.
Honestly, it's been
everyone.
too long.
Yeah, it has been. Normally, we're having parties in summer barbecues and going to conventions every weekend together.
Honestly, I genuinely miss going to conventions. It's just like, it's absolutely killer. And it's like, we've got a bunch of people in chat saying, yay, Dave! The man himself, Big Red. You've got the helmet, haven't you? You got Big Red's helmet, haven't you? You got his lid?
Yeah.
Oh my god. Grab David, grab Big Red's. There he is, Big Red himself. Absolutely awesome. Yes. Exeter Cosplay himself. It's the Roth. Yes. The Roth of Corn. The Roth of Corn. Oh, man. I love this. I have been looking forward to doing a stream with you for some time now, because obviously Quarion, that helmet's huge. It's huge now because he's just a human wearing a Space Marine helmet. Like when I wear mine, it's like obnoxiously big. But you put it on the cosplay and it all fits because scaling is amazing. And honestly, so, as much as I have questions, we also have a bunch of stuff to talk about. Hey, Steph Sketches, thank you so much for the follow. Hello, this is my friend Steph. As much as I have questions here, I will be asking you a bunch of questions, but we're probably going to go on a bunch of tangents.
Hello, Gordon.
And Artemis Blackfire, thank you for the host. Really appreciate that. Honestly, I don't know where to start. I normally start off with like the questions, but I don't know, man. It's just we've done like it started off in Cardiff, didn't it? When I met you properly for the first time.
Arena. Well, yeah, because you were a Ghostbuster for that one.
Yeah.
And I was wearing Big Red for the first time, and he wasn't even properly put together. I'd been painting him up until that morning, so like he was still wet paint when I put him on in the car park. And it was the first time I'd actually worn the whole suit as well, and it, like bits of it were riding up and falling off, and I was figuring it out. And as I walked across the car park, I was even picking up like odd screws and stuff from the ground and using it to screw the suit together, because I was like, this is functional now, and this is where this needs to be. And it was funny because my mate Hugh I was with, he was just like, shit, what do you need next? And I was just like, you see that bit of broken pen? Get that, stab it through that. It was like holding the suit together.
This is honestly why I'm just like, you're such a great cosplayer, because just like finding screws on the floor, get a pen, stab it through the thing, do this, attach that, that'll do. That was if I'm right in saying you had your mini axe then, didn't you, before you got the long handle for it?
Yeah, so it still had the same head, which was obviously the big Warhammer war hat.
Oh, such a cool thing.
Yeah, it's huge, and I made a handle out of some pipe insulation foam wrapped around a mop handle that I'd literally stolen out of Hugh's kitchen the night before we drove to Cardiff. So it was last minute. So last minute, that axe. But the axe is like one of the main bits of the costume now.
It's got Exeter Cosplay written on it, which is one of the things I love the most, because when I obviously first met you, I was like, oh, whatever, and you were like, you just turned to the axe and it was there on the side of the... That's the same one where you got that legendary photo. Oh, wow. That's awesome. Warp Raven has just subscribed to Tier 1. Thank you so much, Warp Raven. Genuinely, thank you so much. Warp Raven, by the way, Tangent, who made me the really cool mold that you guys have been seeing on Instagram, and I've cast a bunch and stuff, and they're super cool, and I actually have them here. I have a bunch of them here. It has real iron in it, and this one has copper. So they're super cool. You guys need to go and check out her cosplay page, Warp Raven. If one of my mods wants to grab Warp Raven Facebook link or Instagram and chuck it in the chat, that would be really, really awesome. Your links are also going to be jumping up in the chat as we go to your Facebook page and your Instagram. I know you do have Twitter as well, but you said you don't use it as much as you do your other stuff, which is fair enough.
I post on it, but like...
She is an awesome cosplayer.
Instagram's my favourite now.
But you've got a legendary photo of you stood in Big Red with your axe, with your hand on top of a mystery machine at Cardiff Comic Con. It was so awesome. It was so cool.
People couldn't get used to the scale, the size of him, because he's 9 foot tall. So the top of his horns is 9 foot tall. And so I was walking around in the main hall, and then everyone was just like, "Yeah, I got to get all these photos, but can you come upstairs to the cosplay area?" And I was like, "Not sure." But that was the first time that I was like, you know what? Fuck it, I'm going to do it. I'm going to go to silly places that I shouldn't, up flights of stairs and into lifts. And like when I first got in there to the Max Point Arena, they asked me if I wanted to go in through a side door, and I was like, no, side doors are for losers. So I went up their front steps. You know how steep their front steps are?
There's that ramp, isn't there? There's that ramp that leads up to the top.
I actually climbed the stairs.
Oh, man.
And bearing in mind my Space Marine feet, the first, I don't know how many inches.
Oh, yeah, the first chunk of it, the entire toe almost, is nothing.
Is nothing. And there's me tiptoeing up these steps. And I got up to the top, and I think that was the first time I broke something in the suit. So the wooden base that was inside that my stilts were screwed onto, it wasn't wood back then. It was actually plastic. It was a notice board that I nicked from my old workplace. And it was
permanently borrowed.
Yeah, borrowed. And basically, it snapped like lengthways where my stilts were screwed into it. And so for the whole time when I was walking, I had a bit of a weird limp going on, a bit of a gangster limp. That's cool. And then at the end of the day, because we went straight from Cardiff to Birmingham, and we were actually at the Birmingham NEC the next day, so that I could do 2 conventions in one weekend.
Absolutely legendary.
And I walked across the NEC's car parks, and you know how big they are.
I know how big the NEC car park is.
Through the little underpass and all the way into the big open area inside. And the whole time I was making this weird clanking noise, and everyone was like, "That's really cool. How do you do all the noises?" And I was like, "Yeah, broken."
Yeah, it's just like, it's currently broken. It's like, it's fine. I mean, you've repaired that thing. Let's see. This is stuff I know. I don't know all of it, but I know this stuff I know, which is you've repaired it while you were wearing it, as in you yourself repaired it while you were wearing it, which was hilarious. Thank you so much, Mr. Titan 40k, for the host. You've got somebody to repair it. I've repaired it while you've been wearing it. My favorite repair that you did, which is the one you did at home, was you were dancing and you tore the back of the top of the arm.
Yeah.
And you were like, oh, it's fine. You literally just put it back together, hot glued it, and then put 2 strips over it to make it look like 2 pieces of metal had been done on. And I did exactly the same thing when I wanted to make mine look repaired, because I had to take a piece out of my thigh. And I was like, I'll do what David did. I'll just put 2 strips of metal, like, not even perfectly straight, just like that. Just shove them on. Man alive, it is, like, the stuff you've done to that suit and the amount of duct tape.
At one point, the entire inside of the trousers was duct tape. Like, everything was duct tape.
Absolutely brilliant.
I think it actually still is. I haven't cleaned it out.
Oh, man. Honestly, the fact that suit is a staple. I genuinely class that suit as a staple. Because everyone knows
it's really nice. People say to me it's not Comic-Con until they've seen that walking through, and I'm like, that's really nice.
Honestly, it's true, though. There are people out there who would be like, I've had people come up to me at MCM London when I was there with Holly and Tony. We were walking up, and someone came up to me who knew me and was like, oh my God, is David here? And I was like, oh, no, he's not. He's not here, but I wish he was. Because people see a Space Marine, they think Warhammer, they instantly think of you, and it's like, and Big Red is so like, cool. I mean, I think it's MCM London. Correct me if I'm wrong. There's a video of you in Big Red doing pull-ups.
Yeah.
Like,
It was so like at MCM, well, basically at the Excel Centre, there's that like underpass where they've got a lovely roof put over it, and the whole thing is actually like stretched plastic canvas.
yeah.
It's all held together by wires, and they're really thick, like chunk wires. And obviously, being 9 foot tall, like they were in my eye line, and we'd just been doing a day's shoot for an indie film that was going to be doing a trailer for Comic Con.
That was a
And
great
it
video.
was- yeah, and it was in the break of that I was like, and I just reached up and grabbed the wires and did some chin-ups, and everyone was just like, that's mental. That's a whole Space Marine doing chin-ups.
If you guys want to see any of these videos, by the way, jump over to David's Facebook page, like his Facebook, and go to his albums and videos, and you'll see all of the legendary videos that we're talking about in this stream. There's so many. I'm not going to ask my mods to link them all, because there's just, you might as well just link the Facebook page and you guys can go find them yourselves, because there's so many videos.
I'm gonna make some effort to put them onto my YouTube channel. So I'm gonna dig out all my old videos. They're all like really low resolution, but I'll stick them onto my YouTube. So Harry, if you can find that, stick that up in a minute.
If Harry or Dragonheart can find David, is it Exeter Cosplay? Is it like?
I can't remember. I'll find it in a minute.
If you could, there you go. If David will find it in a minute, and then throw it over onto the chat if you've got the stream open. But honestly, that's barely scratching the surface, really, is it? Because after our conversation, I was like, hey, would it be cool if I messaged you sometime? You're like, yeah, sure, no worries. And we messaged on your cosplay page first, I think, if I'm right. Then decided I'd risk it and be like, hey, can I add you on Facebook? And you were like, absolutely. And then I added you on Facebook, where it proceeded to be 1 billion messages, 300 plus phone calls a day, 9,000 links and a bunch of files, and then we randomly went to Play Expo Manchester with my friend Marcus and you, and we built the Iron Warrior just because
History.
that's such a compressed version for anyone wondering. There's so much more. But obviously there were other people involved as well. There was Dave Damon, who used to be the Grey Knight cosplay, is now here. Is now there. He was also a massive help. I would phone David and Dave all the time, and yes, before you say anything, I did keep getting them confused. Because it'd be like, David, no, this is Dave. Sorry, Dave. Because I'd hear people call David Dave for short, which would just screw with my head. And then I'd call like, wait, you're Dave, but you're David, right? Don't even. It was a long thing. But yeah, we built the Iron Warrior in a weekend.
Yeah. I mean, it was the base of it.
Well, yeah, the base of it. Obviously, there was no helmet or anything. There was no like weaponry or details or anything. But there is a video that, by the way, I'm freezing. I'm putting my hands against the heater all the time. It's crazy. My hands have gone numb. There is a video that I absolutely love, and I'll never forget this video. It's the one of you grabbing onto my arm while I'm walking around in just the feet and the boots for the first time.
Yeah.
And then there's a photo of me with the thighs strapped on, holding your axe, just like having the best fucking time. And I remember spotting for you at that event as well. But it wasn't that event. It was London. I did the one where you were Darth Vader, wasn't it?
So that I think I was LFCC at the Olympia, wasn't it?
It was at the Olympia. There you go. The one where I would just go around shouting at everyone.
Yeah. We basically, between doing my bits on stage or at my stand, because a lot of people sell prints and stuff, but I wasn't. I was just having fun. I was just there for the fun of it. But so we basically suited up and did loads of running around, and literally did some running around, and Joffrey was there like announcing me. Like, we come out of a lift, and as the doors opened, he'd shout at everyone in front of us to like kneel before their Lord Vader, and I'd stomp out of the lift being in my Darth Vader Space Marine suit and have a crowd of people kneeling in front of me.
Honestly, don't ask me why. It felt really cool to just be like, I'm looking after this giant like Darth Vader, like 9 foot tall Darth Vader. I'm looking after this guy. I'm going to go out. I'm not just going to be like, walking around quietly like here he is. I'm going to make a spectacle of it. I was announcing to everyone like
honestly,
we
you're
would
my
actually.
best announcer that I've ever had. Because like Alice Drury used to walk me around, and she put up with my shit for a long time, like doing the helmets and the drinks and stuff. It was always hard work. And then when I got you on board, and I had like your beautiful Welsh booming voice, just shouting, announcing me as I came into rooms and like out of lifts, and it made it.
Honestly, I remember them well. They're fond memories. I loved it, and honestly, it's. I mean, speaking of spotting, we've got to mention the legend that is Ranger of Creed Cosplay, who's now my spotter.
Harry, yeah.
Who's now my spotter, the absolute legend himself. Who's also he hasn't spotted for you, but he has helped you into your Space Marine at Warhammer Fest. I think
loads of times actually. Harry's always been there, so.
If you watch that video that Dave Sinclair, so many Daves that Dave Sinclair posted on the thing, half of the, like, literally the majority of the start of the video it'll be like a shot of Harry doing my laces up, a shot of Harry helping David into a suit, a shot of Harry helping me with my Pathist on, a shot of Harry. It's just Harry helping everyone while he's half dressed in his cosplay, and then right at the end you just see him stood proudly with all of us, and then just the Krieg himself just stood there. An absolute legend, like a genuine, yes, an absolute bromance. Yeah, we are all bromance. we love everyone. Now, we have questions coming in, by the way. We do have questions coming in. I'm not ignoring anyone, but this stream is... I need to ask David how long he has, because I don't know how long this stream's going to go on for.
Like, we could go all night, couldn't we?
So we have a question from Kaxor Kun. Question to Dave. Can we see the helmet on? I think we did that. We did the one of you with Big Red's helmet on. If you want to do it again, you're more than welcome to. Like, you're absolutely more than welcome to. It's such an amazing helmet.
I don't know if I've got a battery handy. I can put the lights on.
Oh yeah! While David's doing that, I'll kick off a story that David will probably finish because he knows it far better than I do, being the one who experienced it. David had a fan in the back of this helmet one time. See it there? See it there? I don't know if you can see the scorch marks that happened when the damn thing caught fire while David was wearing it at a convention in his Space Marine, but we'll gloss over that and let David continue the story when he's shown us the awesomeness that is his helmet. Look at how cool that thing is. It's such a boss helmet. I love it.
So, yeah, like, basically, the story goes, I'm not great at electrics, and I wired the fan and the LEDs all just directly onto a 9-volt battery, and I've done it in relay, where it's just one big loop. And what it meant was the wires were getting hotter and hotter and hotter. And I was walking around at EGX game convention at the NEC, and that's a big place. I didn't have a spotter; it was just me, and I was running around in my suit, and it was dark, so my lights looked amazing. But my fan stopped, and I was like, "Oh, it's getting really hot," and I couldn't hear it. And I was like, "Oh, it's gone. That's fine. I still look cool." And miles away from the cosplay desk at this point, and I was like, "Well, I better make a beeline back." And then my lights were flickering, and I was like, "Oh no, that's not right." And then the next thing I knew, I was literally just filled with like plastic smoke, and I was running towards the cosplay desk, but it was still too far away. And I got past the lighting box for the main stage, and as I got there, one of the electricians, basically one of their lights guys, stopped me, and I whipped the helmet off, and I said to him, "Can you just sort that out? Just sort it out." And literally plunged a hand in and ripped out all the burning electrics and saved my helmet.
He saved, like, genuinely, the fact that you caught fire is the most corn thing ever.
Yeah. But like, I mean, the inside, you can't see the inside, can you?
It's very dark, but we can see just about. I mean, there's a little bit of light in there, but
I definitely have a torch on my phone. So you see all the foam work inside is minging.
There you go. I think we could even see right at the other side there was the blackness where the burning had happened. Madness. I tell you what though, if there was one thing I could have from your house, like cosplay wise, it would be that helmet. That helmet is like the best because I mean it's a legendary helmet.
So obviously, Big Red was my first. I've made so many. not just for myself, but for other people too. So there's just loads and loads. I was going to show off my.
Oh, dude, yeah, show them all off. Also, Atom Cosplay's in the chat. How you doing, Atom Cosplay? You absolute legend. Yes, the Night Lord. Such a cool helmet. Look at that. The ears are so cool. The ears are just a nuts fucking. That is madness.
So this guy, I based him on some fan art from Deviant Art, and basically it's drawn. It was a space marine, but it was very bat-like, like really bat-like, really long arms and wings, and a head that looked like a bat's face. And I was like, I want that as my costume, so I don't want to be a regular Night Lord. I want to be a proper beast. Hang on, I'm being attacked.
Ah, Tiny Catto! Tiny Catto! Look, everyone, it's a tiny cat. Which one's that?
Lucifer.
That's Lucifer. Hello, Lucifer. Little Lucifer. This is absolutely awesome. We've had kiddies on the stream the other day with Amy. That was absolutely awesome.
Yeah, just saying, Night Lord. He basically was based on that fan art, and he's the most meticulous cosplay that I've ever built. So I built a basic space marine, drawers, and then I redid every element of it with 5mm craft foam over the top. So it's all super perfectly cut, like detailed, all hand painted. I used spray painting and I went over it all and hand painted all the details. The ears and everything are all freehand. Everything on that helmet is sculpted freehand. And it's loads of like car body filler and stuff to get the curves perfect on the actual ridges on the helmet. And then I did Darth Vader. And Darth Vader is a funny one because he was born from a attempt to build supposed to be someone else originally, who kind of was like at the last minute didn't want it. So I bastardized it and reused it.
Because it's an Iron Hands, isn't it? It's Iron Hands Darth Vader, isn't it?
So the idea is the crossover. So Iron Hands, the flesh is weak, and they have all of their cybernetic bionic limbs. They literally all cut a hand off. They all cut a leg off. Well, Darth Vader has exactly that because he lost his arms and legs when Obi-Wan chopped them off for him.
When Obi-Wan just got rid of that dead weight for him.
Right, because the flesh is weak, so he's replaced them. So the idea is, and I mean, I'm very much a bit of a Star Wars fan, so a bit geek out here, but essentially Darth Vader's suit, the premise is that Emperor Palpatine had it made, and he had it made to constantly weaken him, and he had it so that it was always making sure that he was never at his full potential, and that was deliberate. So the suit itself was made to be clunky and crappy. So the idea is that when the Emperor finds Darth Vader in the galaxy, realizes his potential, and says to him, have a proper set of armor, Space Marine armor, and he's just like fully Primarch enabled because he's so strong.
It's literally the fucking best. It's so cool.
Everyone always sends me the little, there's like beautiful fan arts of Darth Vader as a Space Marine, and there's like the Terminator armor one, and there's the regular Space Marine one, and there's a Dreadnought one. They're all beautiful. And I always post my pictures underneath.
Also, here's me, IRL. You have an awesome cape as well. You also have an incredibly long lightsaber as well. You have a huge pole with lights inside it.
I took a piece of like 299 pipe from B&Q, and I filled it with red LEDs. And Dave Damon actually printed Star Wars, essentially Darth Vader's lightsaber handle for me. In a massive scale, and I stuck the pipe onto that, plugged the LEDs into it, and then painted it all up red on the outside, so even when it wasn't lit, it was still red. But it lights up as well.
It is cool when it lights up.
With this massive 9-foot lightsaber. I've got some beautiful photos. I was at it was at the Excel Centre in London, and I just bumped into my mate Elijah, and he was stiffed up, dual wielding 2 lightsabers, and he looked incredible. And we found a dark corridor, and I was there as my massive Darth Vader lightsaber, and we basically had a duel, and we were fighting it out. And he was spinning his lightsabers, and I was just swinging this massive red one. It Brilliant. I've got the photos there somewhere on my page as well, and I absolutely love those pictures. I mean, it looked incredible, but it just was like I got a good chance to show off my costume.
Your cat's about to go get your Titan.
Oh, it's so naughty. It keeps getting up there trying to eat it. Just my Warlord Titan.
Oh yeah, the legendary Warlord Titan that is completely 3D printed with a crab claw.
Well, it's a lobster claw.
Lobster claw, sorry. Not crab claw, sorry. Lobster claw.
He bought me a lobster for my birthday. And I had a lobster dinner, obviously. And then I felt really like I wanted to keep the claws. Because they were just amazing. And it was just the right scale. I was actually about to 3D print myself a power fist. And then I was like, no, the lobster claw is just right.
It looks amazing, and it's got a gun on it as well, which is super cool.
Yeah. So I did some attachments and 3D printed everything to go on it. See if I can get it out without knocking the whole thing over.
Some people are saying that there's a bit of an echo, and also it can be a bit garbled at times, your audio through your microphone. I'm not sure. I can hear you quite well, but I'm not sure whether that's...
It's my laptop microphone, I think. I keep checking stuff.
That's okay, don't worry.
So yeah, real lobster claw, painted blue, but you can see the size of it, and then it's got a
That's so cool.
massive gun attached. And yeah, I was just like, it's too good not to use. So he's now a permanent part of my Warlord Titan.
That is a cool Warlord Titan. That is absolutely awesome. And obviously, we'll definitely get to your CR10S and your 3D printing side of things at some point. But we've also got another question for you. Warp Raven said, the first time I saw you and met you was at Sci-Fi Weekender. Your Darth Vader Marine was so cool.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I mean, I met Kim there, and she's always got amazing costumes. I got some great photos. In fact, we had some great photos at the last one. We managed to get together. Was it October?
Yeah, it was the last one we went to. Yeah.
Yeah, a year ago. We managed to get some great photos together. But yeah, I can't recommend Sci-Fi Weekender enough. It's so much fun, and we get just an amazing opportunity to wear our costumes all day for a long weekend, literally like Thursday to Sunday. You can wear them all night and be partying away and still be in all of your favourite costumes. It's just absolutely incredible time.
I'm not sure if he's still in chat, but DJ Leroy is at Sci-Fi Weekender all the time, and he is the legendary DJ that played the final countdown for the legendary Space Marine dancing video, the Dancing Space Marines that me and David are in. If you guys have any form of like a GIFable chat, so if you use like Facebook Messenger or Discord or anything like that, I think it works on Samsung phones as well. If you go to your GIF section and go to search and type chaos space dance, me and David Roth are like the fourth one down, and it's the coolest thing. And it's just us at Sci-Fi Weekender dancing to final countdown, completely wankered. Like. Absolutely. Also, speaking of Discord, for those of you who aren't in the Discord, yeah, Ranger Creek Cosplay, what a legend. Absolutely loving it. So, we've got so much to talk about, but we also have questions, which is absolutely awesome. So, here's something that I start off with everyone, which is, how long have you been cosplaying?
I was trying to figure it out. The other day, a post came up on my wall, and it was like, was it 6 years ago, 5 or 6 years ago, I built War Machine.
Oh, your War Machine, yeah.
That was my first conscious costume for Comic-Con. I've always loved like making and being in costumes, but there was never like good excuses. It was always like Halloween or like some summer ball or whatever. Like I actually wore for my university summer ball in like 2001, which is so long ago now. I wore a full Joker outfit. I dyed my hair green. Everything. I was like fully. I wore the beautiful long purple suit that the old school Joker used to have. But back then, I had no concept of Cosplay. I didn't have any idea that there were even Comic Cons in the UK. So it was like the first time I actually thought about building a costume because of Comic Con was War Machine, which was like 2014 to 2015. And basically my good friends, the Ind brothers, so Mike, Terry, and Adam, invited me up to the Birmingham NEC, and they were going as the Joker, Batman, and Bane. And it was just on the back of the latest film, The Dark Knight. So Bane was like a big deal. And basically, they said, pick a character and come along with us. And it was a November convention, and I was like, well, I've basically got a month. What can I make? And I went with something completely different. I went for a Marvel character.
Absolute legendary. Just throw in a Marvel character. Just throw in
and I managed to build that whole suit from foam. It wasn't great. People thought it was brilliant, but I thought it was pretty shit. But
we're all our own worst critics in the end.
Yeah, but all the joints worked, and I could walk around in it. The shoes were clunky because I'd used wood at the bottom of them because I didn't have anything thick. I didn't know that if you buy proper thick EVA foam, I made them all out of gym mats. So he was really rubbish. In terms of, he was not very solid and didn't hold his structure well. And then, I kept him for a while. I still got the helmet, because what I did is the following year, I went back to another convention, and I painted him as the Red Skull War Machine, which is a crossover in the comics, where basically the Red Skull he's hiding on the moon, and he's been observing dark technology, stolen laser technology, and he basically steals an Iron Man suit, a War Machine suit, paints the helmet red as the Red Skull, and comes back to Earth. And I was like, that's really cool. So niche that nobody got it. Literally no one got it. And I walked around the entire Comic Con, and they were like, wow, what mark of Iron Man is this? And I was like, yeah, it's Red Skull War Machine. And they're like, nope, not heard of it.
Zoom!
But, yeah, it was cool. And I wore it on the bus. On the, weird story, segue, but...
No, segue away. The more tangents we have, the better. Go ahead.
So they split the NEC for the old Comic Cons, and they had the cat show. So the cat version of Crufts was on at the same time.
Yeah.
So half and half. I got on the bus through the car park with a whole bunch of old ladies holding their cats in baskets, and me in my full War Machine outfit, all lit up, clunking away. And I just stood there holding onto the rail, and they were all staring at me. I was like,
and weirdly enough, they're still weird for taking their cats on a bus, though.
Right.
As much as you wearing that. Tangents are what makes these streams more. Exactly, that's what makes these streams more enjoyable. Is tangents. Tangents are great. Questions are fine, but tangents are what make it all. So obviously you have. Let's see now. Then you have Big Red, Darth Vader. Iron Hands. You have your Night Lord. You have your Khorne Terminator, which is currently up for sale. So if anyone wants to grab it, jump over to David's Facebook page, his cosplay page, which is linked there right in front of me. Jump over there. It's for sale. It's an absolute monster of a thing. It has a huge power fist and a massive Gatling gun. It has a bunch of stuff. The Gatling gun actually rotates, if I'm right.
It does. It's got sounds and all sorts. It's an actual huge toy Gatling gun, but I pimped it with extra tubes and just put it into the arm itself. It's more so you get the old school obliterators. He's almost gone that far because he's got his whole arm as a massive gun, just with claws coming out of it.
So sick. You wore that at Sci-Fi Weekend, didn't you?
It did. And he's so big that I had to have my phone as a screen so that I could see it, and I had a camera attached to it, pointing out the front of the eye socket, because he stands so tall. I wear my Darth Vader legs inside the Terminator armor suit, and it clips on. It's actually got buckles, so it clips on around that full-size Space Marine armor.
That's insane.
That's how big it is. There's a photo of me and you together at Sci-Fi Weekend, and I'm just towering over you.
You're monstrous in that thing. You're so much you're so big in that thing. It's a huge suit. So if anyone is wondering about grabbing that, you're more than welcome to. But then you also have Khan,
Little Khan,
which you're working on. I think you've got your Khan helmet there as well. There, Khan helmet. Yeah, look at that. Oh man, alive! It's such a cool helmet. It's such a cool helmet. Khan's helmet is badass. I like the posing. The posing, that was a nice touch.
I based this on see, it's not your usual it's a very specific model. That has this kind of
hold on. You've completely cut out there for a second.
Oh. Check my internet.
Check your internet, let me know, because I didn't hear anything there just now.
Oh, okay, am I back on?
Yeah, you're good now. Go for it.
So, yeah, I mean, so he's based on a very specific model. It's made as a statue of Khan by some Russian guys. It stands really tall, so it's like a 12-inch statue. But it was one of my favourite looks for him. So he's meant to have like a couple of tassels, which I haven't done yet, but like, you know, he has like weird blue tassels. Yeah. That's the only thing that's missing off this. And I've got the whole suit made.
You also have the shoulders with you there, if I'm right?
Yeah. So
yes.
Exeter Cosplay shoulder, so it just says Roth Exeter. And
advertisement. That's what I do on mine too. Thanks to your axe, I was like, I'm going to do that on my shoulder.
Yeah. And so I mean, there's loads of stuff on this. I'll talk you through it.
Go ahead.
Got a little skull at the top here. So that little skull there is from a cast. There we go. From
skull molds. Hold on, check it out. Yeah. Skull molds.
So these skull molds are ice cube, silicon ice cube tray. Let me just put a light on it.
Skull molds are awesome.
I don't know if that helps, but yeah, it's a silicon ice tray, so it can be hot or cold. There's a little skull here. So that's from this one. And these are all just from hot glue.
Yeah, hot glue molds.
Yeah, really easy to make. The rest of it is foam. So this is all just cut foam. You've got like 2-3mm craft foam. You've got the 10mm pads that you can get from like Halfords and that. They're used for garage floor lining. And then you've got like your slightly nicer foams. This is 5mm polyprops craft foam. So a bit of everything has gone into this. And Andrew, who's in the chat, is the master of making scaled Space Marine suits to fit the human body. So he actually made a scaled set of Pepakura files for me, specifically for me. And then I basically just ran through the Pepakura like we did with yours.
Yeah.
So I cut out the million pieces of paper, sellotaped it all together, drew around it onto foam, cut out the foam, and then just glued the foam together like a massive million-piece jigsaw.
It's such a nice looking shoulder. And I mean, the fact that that's just the shoulder as well. So much detail on it. It's crazy.
And so, like, I hand paint most things. I spray painted the gold on and then gone over it and varnished everything with household varnish to give it that beautiful shiny look that makes it look metallic and like it's beaten copper and gold. All of these are just little pins, the thumbtacks. Why try harder when you can just put in thumbtacks?
Yeah, exactly.
And they make great, you know, on everything, so they look lovely. The other shoulder I have just here. A bit special because he has his demon trophy on the shoulder. So it's basically made out like a bloodletter's skull or head. It actually waggles.
That's crazy.
It actually moves up and down. It's weird. I can pull it all the way out because it's not actually attached inside. It was a bit of an afterthought once I started making it. So all of the stuff on this. So this is foam. And I had a friend of well, a friend of mine asked me how I did the beaten metal at the top, and I was like, it's a craft foam. It looks like it's beaten metal, but it's just foam, which is easy to do.
Foam is
Um,
literally absolutely the best.
I've heat gunned it over, so there's a 10 mil foam base to it, and then this is 5 mil foam that's heat gunned to fold perfectly into all of the bits and pieces. I've used a Dremel tool just to literally just pop the head off of it and just use the whole top of the Dremel to make
Just
screw holes,
like
like rivet holes.
rivets and stuff.
And I've done that here as well. So
That's awesome.
that's not an actual attachment. That's where I just flipped the whole head off my Dremel and just stuffed the Dremel in. So the actual bit that spins.
That's awesome.
This is so the very core of this, just literally the eyes and the forehead, is actually a £2 predator mask that I bought on Wish, I think.
Wish is awesome.
Right. And so I was just like, well, that's a brilliant base. I stuck it on, and then I warbled every other thing onto it. So, like, basically, you can see the brows are nice and warbled, the teeth, the jaw, the entire jaw, because everything from the eyes down wasn't there, basically. All the spikes are warbler, so they're pretty solid.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah.
That'll do some damage.
But in contrast to that, the spikes here, these are all rubber.
They're all rubber. That's awesome.
Yeah, windy. So I can't hurt myself or anyone else on them, importantly, at a convention. So when I'm busting through a crowd and somebody shoulder barges me, bang, they get that. When I'm, having photos with someone's baby, nice and soft.
Nice and soft. That's such a cool. So, how much of that have you done so far? You've done the shoulders, you've done the helmet.
He is done. Yeah.
He's done. That is awesome. When do you think we can see Khan out and about at a convention next year?
God knows. If there's a convention on, then yes, we'll do it. I was hoping potentially to do a bit of a raunchy, not raunchy. Yeah, raunchy.
Yeah, raunchy.
Photo shoot with Khan. What we were going to do is we were going to get the pictures of me basically half in the armor and have all the bits hanging on chains all around me, all ready to be put on, and just, the axe and all the rest. We've got to get it all sorted out. If James Lawler's in the stream, I don't know who he is, but if he sees this later, I'm trying to get him to come down to take the pictures.
That's going to be so cool if you do that. That's going to be so cool.
Yeah, it's a concept we're doing because I've already got all of the chaos tattoos, and I just need to. We were going to. I'll show you these as well, actually. You know how another segue. Space Marines have all their component attachments for their armor.
Yeah.
Actually going into their body. I collect random plastic stuff. Big jar behind me. I keep anything that's interesting as plastic. So bottle caps. So my baby son's food caps are basically they look like little jet engines.
Crazy.
They also look like plugs from the Matrix.
Oh yeah, the one in the back of the neck. Do you know what's really funny? You're showing that. That looks a lot like the one on Evil Ted's mold, the one I painted on Instagram. The little. I know obviously you guys can't really see it, but that looks crazy. Just they'd be really cool, just randomly. How the hell would you glue them on? I don't know. I would just hot glue, done.
You know what? Super glue's not that bad. People in chat correct me if I'm wrong, and obviously don't do this at home. But I super glue my fingers together all the time.
Same.
Right. So why not just super glue on a couple of these just for this?
I mean, a tiny dot of it should be fine, I guess. But
in place. Yeah.
I mean, I've had people here in the workshop, and I've had my glue gun just sat there like that, just with the glue dripping out into my pot, which is the same pot I use to cast stuff. And I'll take it off, and I'm like, oh, there's hot glue on it, and I'll just go like that and take the hot glue off it, and they're just like, don't touch the glue gun. It's just like it's fine. But at Play Expo Manchester is where I gained that ability. Because do you remember the amount of times you were like, oh, it's fine, just lick your thumb and rub the glue off?
Yeah.
And it works. So it really does, honestly.
Space Marine scenes, and I was always just there, wiping the glue down, and you guys are just like, how much does that hurt? I'm like, it's fine.
I just started doing it, and just eventually my thumb was dead, and my thumb is dead now. We have a question for you. This is going back to your War Machine story. Were you wearing stilts or platforms in your War Machine from Quarion?
I made 3-inch platforms out of a block of wood. They were awful. Don't use wood for anything ever in cosplay. It's really heavy. Yeah. Like, it's so.
I did it twice.
I
I
don't
made
know,
feet and my heavy bolter. Oops.
I know, right? But heavy is the word. It's heavy and it's unnecessary. You can make stuff that's structural out of plastic tubes and polystyrene and anything other than wood, because wood is really heavy.
Yep.
Sometimes you need it. Like, so structurally speaking, we put plywood bases in our soles of our shoes now for the Space Marines, but the size of our feet, they're like this big, and actually having a 9mm base of wood is the only thing that's really structurally strong enough to screw a set of stilts onto, because the leverage of those stilts against the wood, it's held in by 6 bolts or whatever.
Because it's foam ply, isn't it? It's just it's a sandwich.
Yeah. Giving away our trade secrets, Doug. It's something that I worked on. Well, like things I worked on it, and I had no idea how anyone else did it. And I basically went, well, it's not strong enough to have just one layer, so I need 2 layers. And then I went, but it needs to be flexible, and it needs to have that bottom that's a soft grip. And I was like, well, the foam comes with a grip on it.
Yeah,
so the bottom layer was foam, second layer was wood. I thought it's going to be flexible, and rather than putting a hinge in the toe, I cut the 2 pieces of wood, so I had 4 pieces of wood basically, so the toes are all loose, and the middle section of foam actually then holds them together, so the foam acts as the hinge. So in the Space Marine foot, the toe section is completely free to move when we walk, and that's why we don't trip over when we walk in our big suits. And I know, I'm not going to say names, but some people fall over in their suits quite often, and having an articulated foot is the way to stop that from happening. And it's like it makes a world of difference.
Don't get me wrong. With my feet now, they don't move anymore. They used to, but I caught the end of my boot against a step once when I didn't lift my foot high enough, and it came out, so I had to bend it back and pop it back in, which is perfectly fine. I didn't break anything, but when I did the piece of wood inside, I made sure to put it all the way through and then screwed it down because I wanted to make sure it was solid. But with your stilts and stuff now, speaking of falling over and stuff, I know I've fallen over once when I had stilts. My stilt also broke at Cypher Weekender. That sucked. So that's why I changed from stilts to platforms. But I know several Space Marines who have fallen over. But you fell over once, but you got tripped, if I remember right.
I didn't fall, I was tripped. And I was at Wales Comic Con at the motor point upstairs in the tiny area they had loads of rows of seats. And there's loads of space between them. And I was like, I wasn't joining in with the cosplay contest. I was just heckling from the back for fun in my space marine.
As you do.
I was there with a few friends, and basically I said to this old lady, excuse me, I'm just going to go and get a seat up there. And she literally put her feet out in front of me as I walked past because she didn't want me to go past her. And I didn't see because I was in my Space Marine suit, right? So her act of old lady defiance meant that I stepped on her feet, and she's lucky I didn't break her flipping hip because, basically I tumbled, but I didn't fall down. I grabbed the chairs on either side, so I only went half down and managed to hoist myself back up.
Legendary.
That's the nearest I've sort of come to falling over. I scare people because in my suits, when I do my little dances or I run around or I jump, and they're like, "Oh my god, are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm jumping around, I'm dancing or whatever." Sometimes I'll jump off a step. Like I jumped off the stage once in Darth Vader at LFCC.
LFCC, yeah.
Like a 2-foot stage. It's not very high, but the bang resonated through the entire auditorium, and maybe 1,000 people turned around and stared. And I was like, "It's fine, it's fine."
If I'm right, yes, the attack of the little old ladies. Um,
Yeah,
if I'm right in saying, we have more comments on our video of you and me dancing, which is just how are they doing it? It's mostly what you see. You'll see like, how are they dancing in those suits? How do you dance in those suits? It's like with
yeah,
a
man.
great many
I
alcohols and much
was
dancing.
gonna say it takes a lot of drink, loads of alcohol,
Because we are
and
incredibly
complete
broken the day
disregard for
after.
personal safety.
I mean, I remember Sci-Fi Weekender going back, sleeping, waking up the next day, and both of us meeting up, bent double, like, how are you? And you were like, I'm stiff, and I'm like, so am I, like, broken, like, and then we did it again that night, because
Yeah,
why the fuck
right.
not?
So we get back in the suits and do it again.
Yeah,
Because once you're back in the suit, everything's fine.
yeah. You get, and well, the best one is the best one is when the suit goes back on you. You feel where it's been like the previous night. And you're like, yes, it is a good pain.
Yeah,
You just like
exactly.
let's go. We have a question from Caxor. Question for Dave: how metal are you?
What, personally?
Yeah, I'd say you're pretty fucking metal.
Yeah, very metal, man. I don't know. I'm all about like Warhammer. But outside of Warhammer, I do crazy stuff like all the time. I've got a wicked group of friends at Realm Pictures, and we do all the videos and stuff on their YouTube channel. That's for Harry's sake. That's just Realm Pictures. Oh yeah, my YouTube channel is just David Roth.
Should just be
Right.
David Roth. If Ranger of Creek can find it, then that would be awesome. If you can link it in, it's just
Yeah,
David Roth.
but pop in Realm Pictures as well. We did Hitman, the real life Hitman
Oh,
experience.
that was awesome. That was
Yeah,
awesome. And
right.
then for your stag do,
Yeah,
that
real
was
life stag do.
legendary. That was
So
legendary.
they took me to our D&D world. We play D&D and we have done for 3.5 years. Every week, religiously. I think Andy, our DM, he might be in chat. Um, but Andy's been an incredible DM, and obviously gives us all kinds of just like worlds that we can live in, and we've lived in that world for 3 years, and we brought it to life. Well, they brought it to life for me for my stag do. So because my stag do got cancelled, they did a video call where I got to play a game, and they built an entire town out of cardboard in their house, and we're driving a little camera around on a buggy in it, and I was fighting little skeletons. And when I came to combat, they had a little model, and I come up to it on the camera. They cut, and they cut to a green screen of Andy, so our DM, dressed as a skeleton or dressed as the big bad guy, COVID.
COVID, the
Or
monster
dressed
that
as a
is.
goblin, little green ears, and he'd fight and have a sword fight and die. And like all of that was live through all of these cameras from everyone's homes from all over Devon, and streamed to me. And I was just like,
Just
it was
legendary,
beautiful.
honest to God. The amount of dedication that went into that is absolutely amazing, and I was honoured to be a part of it as well, because we were your stags, weren't we? The summoned
Yeah,
stags. We were your stags, and that was
that's my
absolutely
ultimate
legendary.
weapon.
Honestly, I had so much fun doing that. I actually filmed it in here, and it was a lot of fun getting my dad to come down and film me. He's like, "What are you doing this for?" And I was like, "I'll explain after we film this."
Yeah.
We
But how
have
metal?
a question from a guy called Lord Stormbeard. Spoiler: tell us about your super secret plans to make Krog armor. Krog armor? KHROG armor. Krog armor.
Krog is my D&D character. That's definitely got to be. That's Andy. So that's my DM.
Hey, welcome.
So big up to Andy. Yeah, I literally sent him a photo earlier. We made minis of our D&D characters ages ago. I play as a paladin, really bad paladin.
Are you saying
So
bad as in like evil, or bad as in you're just awful and terrible at what you do?
evil.
Evil. Oh.
Oh, I was right. So I went through a bad streak where I got in with a goddess lol. And sorry if you non-nerds don't like this, but D&D talk. Got in with the goddess lol. She gave me superpowers. I turned into a drider. I got to walk around as a massive spider version, and I made the mini, so I actually have a massive spider version of my armored guy, and basically I had these horrific powers, and I went around eating everyone, and it was cool. And then I got basically sucked away, and I got made to make a decision about whether I wanted to be good Krog or bad Krog, and we split. We did a bit of time travel to group. Don't make me explain it because it would literally take all night. But basically, there were two Krogs, and we went through this whole thing of was one good and was one bad, or are they just two separate guys and they're going to take their own paths? And that's kind of the way it went. Basically, sorry, my alarm just went off. Basically, the Krog that I am now is a really good paladin Krog. He's following all the rules. However, we've been stuck into an alternate kind of version of D&D within our game where he's gone back to being evil Krog. So I'm playing as the evil version, but with all of the player knowledge of the good guy and all of my loot.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
My magic weapons. So right, listen to this. We were fighting some like dead-eyed evil dwarves. They were the bad guys, and they were like not zombies, but they weren't fully alive. I killed a bunch of them, and they had these magic flaming hammers. So I said to the DM, I want to basically take a whole bunch of potions, cast some magic, and smash these two hammers together into one massive warhammer. And he was just like, that's never going to work. I was like, hang on. So I drank like a potion of Hill Giant strength and a whole bunch of other stuff and rolled a natty 20.
Boy!
Smashed these two hammers together, and I made this hammer, which is now called the Dual Comets, because each end is a flaming hammer, so I can spin it, and it's like two comets of flame.
Badass.
And I ended up with this. And Andy, right, so this is a long time ago, but we were drunk at Nuns Cross in Dartmoor in the middle of nowhere. He holds a little event called Lyric Fest. Shout out to Lyric Fest. Where basically we were playing, and he DMs for loads of groups, and a few of us from those different groups were together, and he just went, I've been drinking all night, I don't want to DM anymore, can I be a character? And I was like, yeah, you be Krog, and I'll be you. So I got to DM, and he got to play as me, and we had the most insane scenario, and he ended up just flying through the sky, lightning crashing through his hammers, like whole load of like trolls coming at him, and he just exploded them all. And I was just like, anything he rolled, I was like, yes, it's brilliant.
That sounds absolutely insane.
The rule with Andy is if it happened and there's witnesses, then it's canon. So the crazy shit that happened,
I like that. Oh, also, thank you so much. Lord Stormbeard has just put the link in the chat for everyone to have a look at. I'm on that. Thank you so much for adding me, by the way. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, well, look, I'll do a little shout out for it. Lyric Fest started as a really small little event that Andy put together for a few friends to go out to Nuns Cross once a year. Middle of Dartmoor, no amenities, no electricity. It's a stone building, and we have fires inside, and there is a little gas cooker, but basically we burn wood to stay warm, we light candles to have light, we sing songs, and we make our own bread, and we brew our own beer. We're there for sort of 3 or 4 days, and we basically spend a lot of time drinking, singing songs, walking on Dartmoor, and living in the D&D world, and we bring it to life while we're there. So I actually wear my armour. I took this set of armour along to the last one as well, and it all got a little bit culty, but it was awesome. But there was some chance to the blood god at one point.
People are saying, sign me up, damn it, and thanks for putting in the link. Also, apparently the link isn't working. If someone could confirm that, that would be awesome, and we can get Lord Stormbeard to fix the link.
What, it's a Facebook group, so I can do a little thing later. I'll post on my what's the best way to do it?
If you post on your Facebook, people can find you there.
Yeah.
So if you guys jump over to David's cosplay page on Facebook and stay there after the stream, he will post up a link to Laird Fest, and then you guys can join in with that. I definitely want to do it at some point because I think it'd be really fun. I'd love to play like a blacksmith character or something like that. That'd be kind of cool.
Like last year we had a real blacksmith. He brought his tools, he brought his furnace.
That is awesome.
We forged rings. So there are long story, but basically we do a little bit of role playing while we're there. There are Jarls and Jarldoms. Each of the Jarls had a ring, and they forged their own rings at Lyricfest. We actually had a blacksmith in real life.
That's crazy.
It's the same guy that I forged my wedding rings with.
Oh
Edward.
yeah, that was absolutely awesome that you guys
shout out
forged
to
your own wedding
Jeremy.
rings. That was awesome.
Yeah, he's our blacksmith. Lovely guy. He works mainly in the middle of Dartmoor. So yeah, I mean, if you guys are ever going to come down here for Lyricfest, it's worth a trip to his forge as well. You can book a little day trip with him. Make you an axe head or a throwing knife, whatever you want.
Man alive! I'm gonna have to start thinking up a character and see if I can come up with anything. We have a question from Warbraven. Are the stilts uncomfortable to wear if you're stood in them compared to moving around also?
So they can be. So depending what suit I'm in, I'm so comfortable in most of my suits most of the time. If I'm strapped in properly, which means I've got big Velcro straps now. I used to have horrible car ratchet straps that were just terrible. Once I even had, I'd snapped the ratchet strap, so they gaffer taped my legs in and then put cable ties around the outside. That was a terrible mistake.
That was terrible.
As I walked, my legs basically went one way and the stilts went the other, and all of that stuff cut into my leg, and it was horrific. And I had scars. It was savage. And then, who was it? Julieta, the Empress herself.
The Empress of Mankind herself.
Why aren't you using these lovely Velcro straps? They're really cheap. I was like, oh yeah, okay.
They're awesome. They are absolutely awesome.
And no, it's not uncomfortable. I can and will spend all day and all night in my stilts, walking around happily. Sometimes if I stand still too long, I get a bit wobbly. I do the whole back and forth.
Yeah, that's when we did Darth Vader. I kept having to turn to you and ask if you were okay, and you were like, right, let's stop moving, because you were stood still too long, so we would start moving.
Yeah, so Darth Vader's stilts are a little bit different. They haven't been remade as many times as the Reds, so they're slightly less comfortable on the longer term, but they're easier to get in and out of because he's got fabric for part of his legs.
Yeah.
I've had to make sure they're perfect because when I'm in, and that's it. And they are perfect. When I'm strapped in, I can comfortably spend all my day. I can sit down in Big Red. People say to me, "Oh, it must be tough not being able to sit down in your cosplay." And I'm like, no, if I can find something high enough, I'll sit on it. I've sat on the bar at the Motor Point Arena in Cardiff. I just walked up to it, swiped everything off it, and sat my ass down.
You sat on a wheelie bin once, didn't you?
Sat on a wheelie bin, yeah, all the time. So MCM London at the Excel Centre, I sit on their bins in the middle of the arena. I just stomp up to it and sit on it. It's weird, listing all the places I can sit.
I know one time you said you managed to get yourself into a lift. But when the doors opened, people tried to come in while you were stood there, and you literally scared the crap out of them. Which is like one of my favorite things to do when I'm in my lift.
It's like, so they're expecting doors to open, and they're just going to charge in because that's what people do to get their space in the lift. So the doors opened, and they all went to charge in, and this big 8-foot monster, helmet off because my head's squashing against the ceiling.
Yeah, your helmet was literally bent against the ceiling.
Turns to them. Imagine I'm 4 foot across as well. So these shoulder pads, one side has a flailed face on it, and that turns to them. And a big guy behind it just goes, "Yeah, going up," and they're like, "No."
Don't think I will. You go. We'll catch the next one. We have a question from Caxor. Question for Dave. How was it to meet the Yogscast gang?
Yeah, awesome. I always get corrected on this because it was Kim from Yogscast, but it was some of the other guys from another show. But they were really cool. They called me over, especially, so they've been doing signings, and there was literally a queue of hundreds of people, and they were like, "You're never going to get through the queue." So they came out from round the side to see me, and they were like so lovely. I terrified Kim. I was with Adam. Adam's probably in chat. He's incredible.
I'm not
And
sure if he's with
basically,
us tonight. He might be with us tonight. We'll have a look if he pops up.
well, big shout out to Adam because basically he went over and he organised it, and then basically I took a run at Little Kim and she absolutely shit herself. She was screaming. You can hear it in the video. It's on my YouTube. And she's just like, "Yeah, enough, get away." I was just there like, I was carrying my little Stitch Teddy as well. He was,
I love your little Stitch Teddy. The Stitch Teddy was awesome. Didn't
he was
you
a significant.
didn't you upset a few people once when you had was it Batman's helmet on a chain? I think you upset a few people.
Yeah, where is he? Oh, I've got him here, but if I get him, everything might fall down.
That's all
Just
right.
be prepared for a crash.
Okay, everyone get ready for a crash. This is going to be hilarious. We haven't even started with the questions, by the way, for everyone in chat. We haven't even started the questions yet, but we will get to one or two of the questions while we're doing this, but this is absolutely awesome. There you go.
There's a story behind this, right? Dave Damon makes costumes amazingly well, but sometimes he forgets to measure shit. So he made this Batman helmet, and it was too small for even his children to wear.
Oof.
But it's beautifully made, and he was like, "Do you want it?" And I was like, "Yeah, of course I want it." So I took a skull and put it in it, and added a little chain for my hook. Now, Dave wore his Batman, his Batfleck armor, like fully armored up, and we went to, was it? It might have been EGX actually.
I think it was, yeah.
Yeah. Went out on stage, and he was before me. He went out on stage, and he was there, and everyone's loving the suit. And it's like a detachable bat thing. It took off his batarang, and they were just like, yeah, cheering him. And he went away. And then I was too big to come on the stage, so they basically said, "You just walk around, walk into the middle, in front of the stage, and just get into the crowd and have fun." So, having had this with me, I walked out with my axe and this on the end of the chain in my claw hand, and basically just held it up, and I just literally stood there and screamed, "I killed the Batman!" And honestly, there was, I don't know how many people, like hundreds, maybe 1,000 people, were just cheering as I was like waving the Batman's head in front of them. They absolutely loved it. They thought I'd actually gone, like the people didn't realise, but some people thought that I'd actually gone and taken Dave's helmet and just trashed it. And I was like, no, this is my own, this is mine. But there was this assumption that I maybe had just killed a
guy. Nothing like quite just like killing a guy. That's absolutely legendary.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of my favourite props. When people talk about props, this is a golden one. I love it.
It is an awesome prop. It does look badass, and I think a bunch of people love that. They're saying it's absolutely awesome.
It's fun, it's just here in the kitchen. Just have it to hand.
Just checking now, because I was going through your page just now, because there was something I remembered, but I wanted to be sure I got it right. So I make sure I get in the chat back up. Now, I know there was a time when you and I finished at Sci-Fi Weekender dancing in our Space Marines for the first time together. We were like, okay, done. Like this is like halfway through DJ Leroy's set. We'd been there for a few hours. Like, let's go. And then we started walking out, and then we met John Robertson. We got the really cool pictures and the really funny video where John thinks it's a picture, but he's like, and he's like looking around. It's like really funny. I was talking to him about that on stream the other day. It was absolutely amazing. We then went back in to our green room, which was the other side, where the weird DJ guy was playing, the one with the weird sticks and the one with the tin foil and stuff. Absolute legend. We get out of our suits and we're just in the trousers, and there's a video clip of you and me just dancing in our trousers, like right at the end. And I've had several people message me just being like, "Wait a minute, are those just the trousers?" Like, those are just the trousers. And then they understand the scale of it then. Yeah. Because they see how much your legs stick out, and they see how far up they go, and they're just like, "Wait a minute," and then they get it. It's weird. It's so weird when people then just finally hits them like a ton of bricks. Like, that's the scale? Like, yeah, it's chunky.
Yeah. Like, I'm 5'9", and people are just like, "You're in a 9-foot suit. That was someone else bigger." And I'm like, "No, I'm a short ass. I have a big costume."
I just choked because I remembered. Sorry. Because I remember the interview you and I had at Warhammer Fest, where we confused the hell out of the guy. The guy was like, "So how tall are you when you're not in the suit?" And you were like, "I'm 5'9". And he was like, "Oh, okay." And he was like, "Wow!" Like he was like really bewildered. And then he was like, "Cool." Then he turns to me and goes, "How tall are you?" I was like, "I'm 6'2". And he just looked at me, looked at you, looked at me. It was like, "What? How?" I was just like, "It's the way it goes." I mean, it's crazy. I love it. I absolutely love it. It's madness. And Warhammer Fest is just... Oh, by the way, if we can get the Warhammer Fest video up for everyone in chat who hasn't seen it, I know a lot of people in chat were actually there, which is awesome.
Yeah, that's true.
Like Ranger of Krieg, Artemis Blackfire, there's a bunch of people who are in there in the chat who are actually at the event, so they would have seen it already, but they would have lived it.
Amazing.
But I loved when Games Workshop were just like, "Hey, here's your green room, like fill it up with stuff," and we just filled it with costumes, and it was absolutely legendary. That was the same event where my hand died. That was absolutely awesome. We have a question from Caxor for you. Question for Dave. Can I be your friend? You're too awesome.
Oh.
That is Caxor. He is also a Space Marine. He is a Terminator Space Marine. He started off as a Space Force Terminator Space Marine. Now he's moved on. He does a bunch of cosplays. So I'm sure if you message Dave on his cosplay page, he'll happy to chat to you then.
Yeah, message me.
Dave's like a nice guy. Everyone knows Dave. Everyone knows Dave. Just like everyone knows Big Red. It's the thing. So what we're actually going to do now, as much as there's so much stuff I want to talk about, like for example, more stuff that we did with the Iron Warrior, and more stuff that you've done with the Night Lord, for example, with your wings, when you said the wind caught your wings one time.
Yeah, that was bad.
That was, it scared the hell out of me, I tell you what. We were stood next to each other when that happened, if I'm right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were at Sci-Fi Weekend.
And I was kind of leaning further back, and then I took a couple of steps back, and everyone's like, "You're right." I was like, "No, get these off."
Just, they're catching the wind. They're like sails. This is beyond.
It was a bad plan to make giant wings for a costume where I'm on stilts. And it was just like, so they were PVC pipes with massive rafts of fabric, and I can't remember, they were like 10 foot across, maybe. No, they were more.
Yeah, when they were open, they were colossal. When they were open, when they were down, they didn't look like much. But then when you would open them out, oh my god!
And I basically almost died straight away, and that was the first and only time I took them out. They got like trashed. They're in like pile upstairs somewhere now.
The pile of Space Marines. Artemis Blackfire says, "I know your pain," because she has her remote wings. You know, the big wings that she had at Warhammer Fest. Saint Celestine. Wind and wings don't mix. Funny enough. Yeah. But as much as we have a bunch of stuff to talk about, I have got a bunch of questions I'd like to ask you. Like, for example, is cosplay you see yourself something doing in 10 years?
Yeah. Don't see why not. My boy... Hang on. I got to start here. My boy so Joffrey made this before my son was born, as a baby shower present. So it's his tiny berserker helmet, and he's got his little tiny dummy on and everything. It's so beautiful. Like,
I love that little thing. I tell you what, the hardest part about making that was the horns, because I didn't have a pattern for them, so I did the horns freehand. But the worst part was taking the Space Marine helmet that was like for a human, and then scaling it down to like a child size, and then using a scalpel to cut it out. And then the dummy, I think, was a nice touch. I think the dummy was my favorite bit.
Gorgeous. And the thing is, like, there's the photos of him at Warhammer Fest. And he's holding
the Warhammer Fest picture where he's wearing it.
And there's a bit where he's reaching up to give you that fist bump.
Oh man, there's so many good pictures from Warhammer Fest. There's a really amazing one where I have my power fist and I have like a singular digit out like towards Atreus, and he's in his palm. He just looks up at me, no fear at all, and just grabs the end of my power fist finger with his tiny little hand. Like this, just grabs the end of it. It was the cutest thing. So if Ranger of Krieg Cosplay wants to jump over to my cosplay page and go to the Warhammer Fest album, I think that picture is there. If you want to link it, you don't have to. If you guys do want to see those pictures, I'm sure Harry will link my social media in chat, and you guys can jump over to the Warhammer Fest album.
I put them all on Instagram at some point, so they should be on there.
And they're all on David's Instagram as well. If you guys want to jump over to that as well, I absolutely love that. It's honestly.
But we'll definitely be cosplaying in 10 years, because I want him to go to Comic Con and Warhammer Fest, and I'll make him tiny berserker armor, like a full set, I'm sure.
I genuinely can't wait to
honestly,
Dancing Space Marines with you, me, and your boy.
in 10 years' time, he'll be wearing Khan because he'll be good enough. Yeah, I would love to see him wearing that.
I can't wait. I genuinely can't wait to see. It'll be you, Angel, and Atreus as a big cosplay family, and that is like the most beautiful thing. I love that. Big cosplay family. Now this is an interesting question because obviously you've done both. Like we've worked together. You've worked with Dave Damon. We've done a bunch of stuff. You've done loads of solo stuff. You've helped other people build theirs, that kind of thing. But do you prefer to work alone or with others when it comes to the building side of things?
I do it on my own, really. Not that I'm like against helping people do their stuff, but when I come to actually making my own, I freehand loads of stuff. I don't follow rules, and I like to make stuff up as I go along, and I need that kind of creative space. So, and sometimes it's the space to get it wrong, and then to look at it and just redo it or reuse the thing that maybe I trashed a week ago thinking it was rubbish, and I look at it again from another angle, and it's the perfect thing for what I'm making now. And that, like, I recycle and reuse loads of stuff. You know, anything that I break or make that's wrong ends up in something else anyway. But I work on my own mainly because I guess I don't know, it's just so that I don't want to block anyone else's creativity. So when Angel's working, I let her get on with hers. I don't jump in if I can help it. And she's the same with mine. But that's not to say we don't lend each other a hand if we need to.
I was going to say, because the amount of people you've helped is crazy.
Yeah, like I've built costumes with you and Alice, and yeah, me and Angel have done loads of couples costumes too. We made the Mr. and Mrs. Rudy Boogie.
Oh, that was so cool. That was awesome.
Yeah, and Angel made her pink, basically Lilo Space Marine, so that I could be Stitch and wear my Stitch outfit.
I love that. That was cool. I loved that Stitch outfit of yours. That was great.
Yeah.
That was so much fun. Oh, the link is in chat if you guys want to see that. The Atreus grabbing onto my Power Fist at Warhammer Fest was such an amazing moment. I absolutely love him to bits. No fear, that boy. Not a single, no fear.
He's grown up with Space Marines and he sees all the armour and he knows what it is, so he's not bothered by it. He thinks it's brilliant.
We have a question from Mr. Titan 40k. Iron Warrior Cosplay to you both. How do you get the hips right on your costumes so you can move around? The hips, well, mainly it's you got the trousers, the pants, if you will, you know, the space pants. The thighs they dangle from there. So the actual bit between the top of the thigh and the top of the trousers, that's where you get your swing from.
I just put a couple of strips of foam on the inside, thin foam as well. I put 10mm strips and they snapped, and I put 5mm strips and they're actually better because they're more flexible. So I put in 3 at points so that it can bend in every direction as I walk. So it will go back and forth, and I can go out to the sides as well when I'm getting swifty.
When we're getting swifty, I do the same, but I use webbing. I use 4-inch webbing.
Yeah. So I used some I don't know what the stuff is called, but it's like non-stick floor matting for your shower, and it looks like webbing, but it's like rubberized. And I put that around the inside of it, so when there's a gap opened up, you don't see me wearing my jeans. You see a bit of like what looks like metal work.
Yeah. You can get in a big roll and you can cut it. You put it on the dashboard of your car. You can put your phone on it. It doesn't slip.
It's
kind
like
of thing.
Quid. It's so cheap. So you just use loads of that.
Also, that's the same stuff you can put onto foam and airbrush really lightly and make a carbon fiber effect.
You can put it. I've seen loads of girls use it for doing their like lizard and fish scale effects for their makeup.
Yeah, that's so cool. That is so cool. With all the cosplays that you have, if I had to ask you to pick a favorite one,
I mean, Big Red is obviously.
Big Red, he's the boy.
Yeah.
Big Red is the best though. Like he's never going anywhere. He's like if it ever gets to the point,
still the best.
If it ever gets to the point where you do decide to announce like your retirement from Big Red, they're gonna probably have to put him in a big glass display at Warhammer World. Like
I said, I'll fill him with concrete and make him a statue.
Oh man, that'd be insane. Fill him with concrete, make him a statue. Oh, that'd be insane.
Right, fill with me for 1 minute.
No worries. So for everyone on the stream, who has joined, who doesn't know who I'm talking to today. I am speaking to the lovely David Roth of Exeter Cosplay. Without David, my Warhammer journey wouldn't have begun. There wouldn't be an Iron Warrior, and there wouldn't be an Iron Warrior cosplay if David hadn't have been just the most like incredibly kind person to give me as much of his time as possible. He would message me while he was at work and stuff. He would talk to me on weekends. I would call him regularly. We would do FaceTime and stuff. We would do like messenger calls and video calls and stuff. And I would show him what I've done so far. He sent me the files originally, the Pepakura files. Now, obviously, David being a Space Marine goes to loads of conventions and stuff. People ask him almost like at every con. He'll get 2 or 3 people ask him, hey, can you help me build a Space Marine? And David will be like, yeah, sure, I'll help you. Then they'll get the files. They'll realize the Pepakura files are going to take time to do, and then they give up. Or they'll do the files, they'll start coming out, they'll realize they're not very like good at it, and they get really frustrated or whatever, then they just don't do it. So obviously, when David told me this, he was like, yeah, I know, a lot of people say they're going to do it, but here are the files, get them cut out and taped together and, like, message me then. And I'm like, okay, cool, which is fine, because you're bound to get frustrated, with loads of people asking you to do it and then everyone giving up while you try to help them, so you kind of leave that. So what I did was, I think over 2 days, I printed all the papers out and literally over 2 days listening to music, just cut them out, tape them together, cut them out, tape them together, cut them out, tape them together. And I called David and I was like, okay, done. And he was like, what do you mean? I'm like, done, all the papers done. And he was like, okay. And I kind of hope that kind of made him click and be like, this guy actually wants to do it. And it's like, I really do want to do it. I really want to do it. And it was insane. Also, can we just, for a second, Evil Ted Smith is in the chat. Evil Ted is here, the man himself. The absolute legend. All hail Evil Ted Smith. If you have his emotes, spam them. If you have my emotes, spam them. I love Evil Ted. He's an absolute legend. Evil Ted, this is David Roth, Exeter Cosplay, like one of my best friends in the whole wide world. He helped me actually start off doing Iron Warrior cosplay. He's the one who helped me build it. But as I was just saying, I finished doing the patterns and everything, and suddenly it was like, oh crap, he actually wants to do this. That's insane. Okay, next you need to do this, buy floor matting, do this and do that. And like I started buying tools and stuff, and I bought my first heat gun, my first glue gun, all the knives I could find, just all the £1.50 blades. Just found everything I could.
Loads of pairs of scissors.
And out of the blue, we got asked at the end of it was London. I was at the MC, I think, at London Film and Comic Con. I was with Matt, who was on stage as well from Sky. Matt Page.
I was LFCC, yeah.
Yeah, LFCC. Right at the end, we spoke to a chap about Play Expo Manchester. And we were like, hey, can, randomly, if you're willing, can we have 2 tables and an area at the cosplay zone and build a fucking Space Marine?
And he's straight away up for it.
And he was instantly, without a second of a thought, he was just like, absolutely.
Because he'd spend the day watching us, running around, especially because Joffrey, shouting, announcing you everything.
I like shouting. Shouting's the best.
I was going to say, though, shout out to Matt as well, because when he was there doing all of his commentary, and, he's a big deal. He does all, BT Sport and stuff.
Matt's awesome.
He's a big deal. And yet, he was there totally, he was just lovely. So he was just there for us, and he was on stage just talking to us all the time. I'm top guy, and I think stuff like that it makes an event just so much better, incredible. It was an amazing event anyway, but it made it so memorable.
Honestly, I tell you what, I was crapping myself that entire event because they told me I was going to be sharing the stage with him. So it's like, Matt will be doing the main emceeing and stuff, and then you'll be doing the side stuff and then the cosplay stuff where me and Matt would do it together. And then obviously I was Professor Very Mental as well at the same show. And I did the prof and everything, came off stage, and Matt was just like, what the hell was that? Because I didn't tell him. I just went on and did it, and then came off, and he was just like, "What was that?" And I was like, "Yeah." We actually became quite good friends. He added me on Facebook literally
Yeah.
the day after the event. He was such a nice guy. There's a picture of me and Matt together, which is an absolutely awesome picture. Outside with our tags, the little things that you get with crew, that kind of stuff. But at that same event, where you and I asked if we could do Plex for Manchester, I actually was just like, I know who I'll message. Like, I'll need a second person to come with me as well as David. So I messaged Marcus and was like, hey, I might have a thing to ask you when I get home tomorrow. And he was like, okay. I asked him, and he was umming and ahhing about it a bit because his girlfriend at the time was pregnant.
Yeah.
And he was like, she could go at any minute, but I'm now going to come with you to play Expo Manchester for a weekend to hang around with random people and get completely wasted and build a space marine.
I tell you what, there's some stories there actually, because we were drinking at the hotel and randomly, these guys just kind of joined us. Nobody questioned it, right? So we had a good group of friends in 3 rooms all along a corridor. So we're all just in and out of each other's rooms, all drinking on the bed. And then we were just bundled into one room because it had a sofa. It was in my room, actually. And then these guys just come in and sort of just sat down, started drinking. And it didn't occur to me, but then we just kind of went, what do you do? And they're like, oh, yeah, we're the guys that made Lara Croft, Tomb Raider. I'm like, right. That's amazing.
Okay, you just randomly in somebody's hotel room decided to do that, and he was such a nice guy. The guy who did the music for it.
Yeah.
The guy did the music for it. The actual person. And I was like, wait, how many Tomb Raiders did he? He was like, well, I did the first one, and I'm like, this is insane. Just randomly showing up.
Yeah, it's just mind blowing, and these guys were just there. But that's part of the Comic Con stuff that I get behind the scenes because I get to stay at all the hotels with all of all the real celebrity guests. And I'm just there mincing around out of my suit, so they don't know who I am or anything. And I'm meeting all the celebrities. I've met everyone from Star Wars, from Back to the Future, from Star Trek. You name it, I've probably been in a room with them at some point, getting dressed into a Space Marine.
It's insane, right? Going to these events and then just being in the green room, and it's like, oh, hey, suddenly it's this person. I will now shut up.
All in one event. I met Bill Paxton, rest in peace, and who else? Yeah.
Do you remember Hodor?
Hodor.
When we met Hodor?
Michael J. Fox. God, who else? Everyone. Garrett Wang is still one of my favourite guys. Ensign Kim. He literally jumped his desk. He was in the middle of signing, and he jumped his desk, came over to me, grabbed my axe, and took about 1 million photos of me and him, with him waving my axe around, terrifying the rest of the Voyager cast, who were all trying to be a bit serious and getting their autographs signed.
Absolute hero. I forgot. I'm really bad. I've forgotten his name. The guy who played Saw, the serial killer. I met him at one con, and also Danny John Jules. Met him in Cardiff when we were at the bar, the after party, and Danny John Jules was just there. It's like, hey.
Here's another story. So we met in my. So I see Chris Barry all the time, Rimmer. Just all the time, and so we're just like a wave and a high away from, and then basically Danny John Jules was there, and I was just like, wow, you are literally, you've been there my whole childhood. I love Red Dwarf. Cat was the best thing about it, and let's get a picture. And he took a great selfie, which I still use for everything. It's on my actual Facebook still, it's on my Instagram and everything, and it's him and me in my armor. And then he just went are you out tonight with everyone? And I was like, yeah, we're all going to Fuel Rock Bar. Got guest passes because we were all signed up as guests.
Yeah, we were all guests at the time.
And he literally was like, oh, cool, I'll see you there tonight. I'll be there about 8:30, 9 o'clock. I was like, I'll see you there? Didn't expect that to be a real thing. I thought
it was insane.
He was just going to be there, so he was just saying that, right? Not at all. I walked in, and he was like, Dave, get over here. Slapped the wristband on me for free drinks because him and his manager had got them. And we basically just got wrecked in Fuel. We drank free beer, and he doesn't drink beer, but he does drink JD and Coke, which is why I got his wristband. So he was getting trashed. I was trashed. His manager was trashed. they have like they used to have a really strict no vaping rule because it was him. They were like, nah, that's fine.
Yeah, he literally
like,
had his giant, like, his cannon, like just all
it
the
was more
time.
smoke than the smoke machine. I remember saying that to the band because I was just like, he has a better smoke machine.
It was, honestly, I genuinely miss those days of just us in Fuel and going to the con and then hanging out afterwards. And the after party was like one of the best parts of the con. The con itself was great, but every time I do a con like that, you know, with you, and when I'm either, if I'm emceeing or if I'm the prof or if I'm cosplay guest or something, or if I'm doing the Ghostbusters table, it's always right at the end when the whole place is empty and all the tables are gone, and you got to leave and go back to reality. It's always the saddest thing. You got to say bye to everyone. It's like really, really. It just sucks. It really sucks. It absolutely sucks.
But I love the fact that we've got such a good sort of family from it. Like we're such, not just you and I, but all of us, we're such close friends, man. Like when you come over and we do the barbecues.
Oh, I love the barbecues with the giant blowtorch and the marshmallows with Rammstein's playing like.
At Dave Damon's place, where we just flamethrowered the barbecue, so we just got an actual flamethrower, and then. What did we do? We got the 65-inch screen TV down.
And got it downstairs.
And we put the speakers next to it in a field, and we just blasted Harry Potter dance. What was it?
It was the Harry Potter dance remix, and it was insane. It has a hell of a drop as well. It's absolutely
just in a field outside his house after the barbecue.
We have one from Snowdrop Hat. Can you build a Space Marine at Sci-Fi Weekender? I mean maybe if somebody wants a Space Marine, like, you know, if you want to get all the stuff, we can build it. Sci-Fi Weekender, why not? We also have another question from Caxor. Question from Dave. Who was your inspiration person when you started cosplay plans? Like, who did you sort of? Who was your inspiration for starting to cosplay, or did you just start cosplaying?
No, there's like a really. I mean, my Space Marine. I was in my. I mean, I can say straight away, Mike Ind, I don't know if he's on tonight, but Mike has been my best friend for as long as I can remember. We worked together when we were just kids, and we're like family to each other, literally. I've spent whole weeks at his house with his parents. We've been on family holidays together and everything. But when Mike said to me, come along to Comic-Con, that was like really defining moment. And then my good friends, Pete and Luke, they invited me along to another Comic-Con shortly after, and I got to wear the suit again. And honestly, those two guys are just like stalwart friends. They've been friends for years and years. And then bringing Comic-Con into it just made it even better. But it was when I was walking along in War Machine at Birmingham NEC, and I was wearing my heels, so I was only like 6 foot, because I'm a short ass anyway, but I felt big.
Yeah. Well, you're in giant armor. You're going to look big anyway. Like.
And I was having that moment when I walked through the crowd, and I was like, this is cool. People are like, yeah, look at the guy. And then walking the other way was Daniel Knox in his Space Marine. His brand new Space Marine that he just built walked past me, and I just looked at him and I went, wow. I was like, firstly, fuck that guy.
Can I just for a second, literally what you just said, copy and paste me to you. Like, I walked over to you, you had a crowd of people around you, and I'm like, wow, fuck that guy. He's so cool. He's a badass. Fuck that guy.
In the most loving, respectful
exactly. Like, I had no hatred for you. Everything but just like pure awe. And I asked him the dumbest questions. Don't mention them. I asked the stupidest questions when you were there. And I thought that, oh, I'm so sorry. Who was your spotter that day?
It was Hugh.
Oh, it was Hugh. Yeah, it was Hugh. I asked Hugh if he was David's dad. I felt so bad. I felt so bad. I bet he loves me for that forever. He's such a nice guy. I've met him a few times afterwards now at your barbecues and stuff. He's an amazing person. I love him to bits.
I'll send him the video to this afterwards because he'll be pleased.
Yeah, please do. Please do. It's absolutely amazing. Also, Tux White Tiger said PCD post-con depression, and it's more, for me, I call it the con blues.
Everyone's, like my whole Facebook feed after a convention, it's the like hundreds of photos.
Yeah.
Getting tagged, getting sent photos, new people saying, we met, can I be friends? And just being like, yeah. And then it's that whole thing of, I wish I was back there.
Yeah.
But that
Every time.
like week afterwards, just being back in real life, maybe back at the office, and just being like, what am I doing with my life? What people like? People like me. People want my photo.
Yeah,
And you're sat in
exactly.
an
Same.
office and everyone
Yeah,
hates you, and you're like,
it's
ah.
so depressing. Like, get this right. Do you want to know the worst one for me? The worst one that ever, the one that hit me the hardest, and actually, I genuinely felt like I was going to burst into tears. Sci-Fi Weekender finished. It was Sci-Fi Weekender 9, I think. It was Sci-Fi Weekender 9. You and I we just finished doing the Space Marines, the second set of Space Marine dancing and that kind of stuff, and like we decided we wanted to make it a thing at every Sci-Fi Weekend. We got to get one video of you and me dancing, and all that cool stuff. It was such an amazing weekend, meeting loads of celebs, meeting new friends, meeting old friends, and just getting together and having that brilliant time. Then going home, and that Monday having to go back to my cubicle at the call center, selling doing PPI, and I was just sat there, just at my desk at break time, just like. This is the most depressing thing ever. Thank God I don't work there anymore, but right now with COVID and everything, it's like, it's hit hard. It hits hard, man. It hits hard.
It's really difficult because, like I say, normally every year we have a massive barbecue at my house.
Oh, I love your barbecue every
all
time.
of you guys normally come along. I'm looking at the camera saying that because I know half the people here would normally be along.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Half the people in chat would be here.
And that's just like the highlight of our year because it's right between our birthdays. Me and Angel have a birthday both in May, and we have it at the weekend in the middle. Like everyone we know to come to stay with us in Devon. We have a huge barbecue. It goes on for a day, and we drink all night, and we end up on YouTube watching our own flipping memes, our own videos and gifs.
Thing is, though, it's too funny though. We're just like, do you remember this bit? And then it's like, yeah, that bit's awesome.
And do you know what? That's what's so cool because we spend all night drinking, and then we get onto the YouTube videos of ourselves, and we're reminiscing about the amazing parties we're at while we're at an amazing party, and it's so good. And I know it's like a weird little echo chamber of just us enjoying ourselves, but that's what it's all about.
Oh no, War Raven just said it. Dovrig Con flu. It was. It wasn't.
You really killed us.
Genuinely, you have no idea. Like Sci-Fi Weekender, Sci-Fi Weekender X, Sci-Fi Weekender 10. I got there. I was perfectly fine. That night, Papa Nurgle decided to meet me and be like, "Hey man, just caressed my face and then just bopped my nose, and I was like, "Oh, okay." And then he left, and then suddenly the next day I was like,
So when he spoke, it was like someone dragging rusty nails through gravel, right? And you were hacking phlegm. And guess what? The sleeping arrangements were me and Duffrig with our faces this far apart because we were in 2 single beds made for very slim human beings in a caravan. And so we were basically like on top of each other. And he's there just huffing his germs into my face. And I was just like, yeah, this is fine.
I felt really bad, but I tell you what though, I still did like the judging and the stuff with you guys, and I still did like the microphone stuff. We did so many panels while I was dying.
Yeah, and like credit to you, you made it through. But we were dying the week after, so we all got it, and we got home and we were just like, and rotten and so ill.
It was horrible. It was so horrible, honest to God. But yeah, bromance Swiss. Yeah, it's a bromance. He's an absolute legend. But yeah, literally, I was Papa Nurgle in a Super Mario suit the whole weekend. Like, so we have so many questions,
doesn't it?
We have so many questions. We have. Let's see now. Then let's see. Iron Warrior Cosplay, Exeter Cosplay, Space Marine Dance Off Bro. That was Warp Raven, if I'm right. Warp Raven said that. It's like, hell
Sci-Fi
yeah.
Weekender, we just... So DJ Leroy shouted out to us. He dropped some tunes.
DJ Leroy.
We were dancing next to each other. And like I said earlier, complete disregard for personal safety. And anyone that got in our way got stepped on.
Oh, do you remember? The guy who came up behind us and tried to go between us, and both of our shoulders came together at the same time, and he was just like...
I have so many stories about just trampling people.
It's stupid.
I have an amazing one. So, a long time ago, I was at MCM London, and Jessica Negri she had a million people queued up to see her, and I walked past, and I waved, and I got a wave back, and I was like, yeah. And the security guard went, whoa. Like this, ditched her, came over to see me, and was like, "Do you want to walk around convention together?" I was like, "Yeah, what? And he's like, well, because I'm a security guard, I can, shout stuff and get people in and out of your way. But my brother's here and he's carrying a ghetto blaster and he's definitely playing drum and bass. I was like, I'm so up for dancing to some drum and bass.
Absolutely.
Your brother. So he does. So he radios basically and gets his brother over, who I can't remember. Basically, part of his cosplay was a massive boombox, and he was just pumping out drum and bass. So we were all dancing, and I had a crowd of maybe 30 people around me, and we're all just jumping up and down, which is fine because in a Space Marine, jumping up and down means people stay a little bit away from you, and it's no danger. And then this guy comes up and he goes, yeah, limbo. And I was like, what are you doing? And he's like trying to limbo between my legs, right? So he gets down onto the floor and he ends up falling onto his back. But he's done it in a way that his like knees are bent over, so he looks really awkward. But he's already pushed me and I'm a little bit unsteady. So I just step forward over him and I stomp onto his body. And I literally step on his shoulders as I go over him, completely crushing him. And I just carry on walking. I just say to the security guard, like, let's make this party move on.
Let's just go. I just killed the guy. Let's go. Like...
And I'm just like, yeah, fuck that guy. He's dead. Let's move on. There's more people.
Oh, absolutely. B Cosplay is in chat. B Cosplay is in chat, and absolutely, drunken Space Marine antics is literally what me and David do. We get completely wankered, and then we get in our suits and go dance. DJ Leroy, I can't tell you how much we appreciated when we were like literally went right to the front of the stage. We started dancing, and he literally halfway through like one of the songs, like as it drops and it's like dropping and really really cool. He drops the volume and just goes, "The Space Marines are having it," and then cranks it back up. And we were like, "Hell yeah!" He's an absolute legend. We have been meaning to get on stage with him for so long, but because of health and safety reasons, they won't let us.
We are like.
It's
so
just
one of the first times at Sci-Fi Weekender, we had the pig cops with us. And do you remember the pig cops? Mike and the guys?
How can I not forget the pig cops? They're absolutely a legendary
so
pair of like
two
absolute
of us,
legends.
We're on the big dance floor, and this was when we were at the big arena when Sci-Fi Weekender was still in Wales.
In Havana Moor, in North Wales.
They were there with their shotguns, like pushing people back, and they were like, clear the way for the Space Marines. And we were just jumping all over the place.
Mate.
I mean, they confiscated my axe. Can you remember that?
I remember you, because you were swinging it around one-handed, like swinging it around, and they were like, we're going to just
7 foot of axe with this head on it that's 3 foot by 2 foot. And I was dancing, swinging my axe around. And there were people getting wiped out left, right, and centre. And I think it was Mike, actually, that came up to me, and he just grabbed me by the arm. And was like, Dave, can I just take your axe away from you,
I'll just grab that a sec and I'll just take that back. Fair play to him, he took it back to the cosplay zone. Like, he bunkered off to the cosplay zone, put it back, and then came back.
Well, it was like, no, you put it on stage. And it ended up on the stage, and then because I was getting so hot, I took my helmet off, and that ended up on the stage as well. And do you know what happened? Somebody put a teddy bear between the curve on the helmet, between the bunny ears, and then somebody else, because the lights were still on as well, so it's glowing red. Somebody else was then piling like their drinks around it, and it ended up being a shrine on the stage, right? And they actually built like out of their drinks, their cups, their teddy bears, their props, this flipping shrine to Corn.
Corn shrine at a con. What you call it? For those of you who don't know, the cops were lard, weren't they? LARD. Yeah. They were pig cops, and is it from Duke Nukem? Duke Nukem. It is from Duke Nukem. I wasn't sure if I was right or not, but yeah, they were probably the most amazing people I've ever. Like, as soon as you and I were stood by the bar, they both came up and were like, drinks? Like, straight away to both of us, like, yes, please. Like, just, we'll have that. Absolutely no problem.
But I mean, yeah.
I miss those guys. I have them both on Facebook, but I tell you what, I absolutely miss them. I absolutely love those guys. They were absolute legends. I really want to see them again, Sci-Fi Weekender, and just talking about it makes me miss it even more. And it's just those times, like it's those times that when you reminisce with the person that you've done it most with. Like, for example, you and me have just been at every Sci-Fi Weekender that since like 8, and it's I miss it so much, and to not have it. To not have it now, and even the online Sci-Fi Weekender, though, we were judges, which is awesome, with Daniel Theophani, absolute legend himself.
God, that was incredible. I mean, we should explain it. Basically, we always judged the cosplay competition, and because it was all happening online, we just zoomed it. We zoomed it in, and the three of us, we just got to see everyone's costumes and then chat about them, which was just like this. It's really good. I mean, it wasn't as good.
It was. Honestly, I enjoyed it so much. But you know what? I have so many questions for you. But we've done almost 2 hours now, and I have so many more questions for you. But before we carry on with some other questions, I won't ask them all because there's some that are just not going to be applicable to you because like you're just we know now. Like,
Wow.
But with oh yeah, exactly, Evil Ted, exactly, the con blues. That's exactly what I call it, is the con blues, and it hits you. It hits you like a train. Not suddenly. You're still pumped with adrenaline, like the next day, and then the following day, and then suddenly the train hits you, and it's like
you get that little bit of I don't know what it is, but you get suddenly you look at your Facebook and you've got like another 10 notifications, and you go, ah, brilliant. And you've got that gratification for 15 minutes of looking at some photos you've got tagged in. And then you sit back down to your everyday life again and you're like, and you're waiting for the next lot of photos to get tagged or something like that. And it's that whole thing of anticipation. And actually that drags on for months or at least until your next convention or next event. It's like living vicariously for cosplay.
Well, I mean, cosplay to me, cosplay is life. You got to have fun doing cosplay. And cosplay for me is like one of my favorite things. And
we've found events now where it's not just you turn up, it's an event, and you wear your costume for an hour because that's what some of them are. We go to events now where you turn up and you are your costume. You are known for your costume.
Yeah, now it's madness. Like I never thought I'd get to that point. And
yeah, we turn up and we put on our costumes and we wear them for 2 days, and we wear them all day and all night, and we do all of our drinking and dancing in our costumes, and they're the best events now. Shout out to Sci-Fi Weekend, but stuff like the local conventions as well.
The UKCGF, the Lisa has been an absolute absolute star to me.
Great. We did the one in Exeter and Bristol.
Do you remember the one we did in Exeter? That's where I did the saxophone video.
Yes,
man.
The iron sax. Everyone's seen that now. It's gone around Reddit again. But basically, Duffrick made a saxophone that actually played the epic sax music. I made a crappy beer box and tinfoil saxophone.
But the thing is, you were my inspiration. Again, you were my inspiration. Like Big Red was my inspiration to make my Space Marine, and then your saxophone was the one to make mine. Like, it's just the inspiration. I love it, and it's just...
Wasn't it on the back of some... we were messing around doing something, and you suggested it, and I was like, you know what? And I just gaffer-taped beer boxes together and wrapped them in foil. And then was like, I've got a giant saxophone. I'm the epic sax guy. And it was Riding to Ultramar, wasn't it?
It was absolutely awesome. It was genuinely the absolute best.
There's a very old Warhammer. It's a video of basically an Ultramarine riding on top of a Land Raider, playing the saxophone as everything's exploding behind him. And we were like, well, we can do that too. So we did. I did it with my Poundland version. you also
thing is though, you also used mine as Darth Vader at Exeter, and I danced next to you. There's that video as well.
That video I love. So I'm playing it, and I'm actually like a minute into the saxophone solo, dancing up and down, and then basically Iron Warrior just steps in from the side, bopping away in tune with me, perfectly in step, and we just dance to perfect groove, just playing epic sax.
Oh yeah, Tux White Tiger, you have my bow and my sax. Do you know what, right? Do you know what? I'm going to go grab it.
Get it. It's such a beautiful thing. Like, we talk about our props, and the saxophone is so niche for, like, you've got to know the whole story behind the gift, the memes, the joke, and it's like, yeah, it's totally an in-joke, but there are literally thousands of people from the Warhammer community, and not just that now, but now the whole cosplay community, that understands, like, our stupid in-joke that was between me and Duffrey is now like a big flipping international phenomenon. When people see it, especially the gift, they, like, when they post it on Facebook, it suddenly opens this massive stream of comments, which inevitably is all of the old, like, videos of it from years and years ago. Tell you what, while Duffrey's off, I'm going to open up chat and I'll get some questions. Hey,
pile of
Is Terry
cosplay stuff back there, but there you go.
The epic stats.
The
Isn't
iron
it beautiful?
sacks. So, for those of you who don't know, this is really funny. To make this is all scrap foam, but to make this, by the way, it actually, for those of you who don't know, it actually goes all the way through. It's actually a hollow saxophone. There's a strap inside there that holds the speaker. It's got skulls and stuff on it. But what's really cool about this is a Space Marine arm. This portion here and here, this is a Space Marine arm. So this is where your arm would go in, and this is where your wrist would come out. So all I did was add an extra tube, did that, and then added the ring, and then there you go, and then added a Chaos Star. B Cosplay, who is in chat, B Cosplay laser cut me this before I got my laser. So I stuck that on.
Terry's on.
Yeah, no, B Cosplay's there. Yeah, there he is. He's actually there. Absolute legend that Terry is. So, for everyone who I don't know, did you explain about the memes and the saxophone videos and stuff?
Yeah.
Me and Ranger of Krieg have done so many memes as well. We did a JoJo meme, which is absolutely awesome.
Do you know what? One of my favourite photos is a picture of Harry behind me with his entrenching tool about to stab Big Red in the head.
Do you remember the day we did that when it was just our top halves, and then there's a picture of you and me in just our top halves?
There's a Never Skip Leg Day photo, and it's just us wearing the top half of our Space Marines, and then we're both wearing like jeans and just skinny jeans, and we just look ridiculous.
But I tell you what, those photos, because you and I just would kneel down, and then Harry would come up behind us with his shovel, and then the edits that were done are just absolutely brilliant. And
that's one of my favourite pictures. Harry can post that because it's photoshopped. He's got a glint in his eye, and he's just about to murder me. But everyone knows that's the only way to kill a Chaos Space Marine, is to find a guardsman with an injection tool. That is the only way.
And honestly, Harry would know where to get that because it's on his own cosplay page, Ranger of Krieg Cosplay. So if you want to throw your cosplay page up there as well, Harry, and tag yourself, you're absolutely welcome to throw your.
While we're
Ranger of
talking
Krieg
about Harry, I want to shout out his miniatures are mind-blowingly good.
Aren't they just?
His scenery that he puts his crewsmen into, it's just epic. Like it's basically trenches and water, like incredible, beautiful, kind of muddy scenes of trench warfare, and they are just so good. So
honestly,
post your Instagram. So
and his Instagram, link your Facebook, your Instagram. Honestly, it was. His like current like stack of Krieg boys, he's just been buying more and more, and he's been going nuts. I started an addiction after I bought him the little Krieg Advancing as a thanks for him for spotting for me for an entire year, and now I've started a horrible addiction that he's going to be like on street corners being like, hey, you got any Krieg material? Like, I need Krieg models. Like, what do you need doing? I'll mow your lawn. I'll paint your house. Just give me money so I can buy more Krieg stuff. He's an absolute legend. And his the one he did recently with his new tank, and it's got the bulldozer blade, it's just right at the end. It's got a bunch of rubble on the front of it. Oh man, that one is so good. It's honestly, I absolutely love that.
It's beautiful.
Such a cool. Honestly,
I've got to get all my Death Guard put together so that I can come fight him.
I've told him that my Mechanicus need to fight him as well. Make sure you throw your Facebook up there as well, so that people can find you on Facebook as well. I know we literally just spoke about it before the thing being like, Instagram's your main thing now, but throw both links up there and get everything going there. I know the pictures of Harry killing you and me are absolutely hilarious.
I love those pictures.
But there's one of me and Harry facing off that shooting cosplayers took, where I'm holding my bolt pistol like that, and he's holding a shovel, and he said the best. He said the best line. He was just like, and at this moment, he knew he fucked up. It's just like a shovel, like he's an absolute legend. Absolutely, big shout out to Ranger of Krieg Cosplay, like an absolute hero. So, I have a million more questions, but I'll ask you one or two more before we end the stream for tonight. So, I mean, do you know? I might as well ask you this: what would you class as your funniest cosplay story? Because I know you've got a list of them. I know you've got like a scroll. If you could type, I think you could type an entire book
Like, we just need to get drunk and chat all night, basically.
Honestly, I mean, get this right for everyone who's in chat. I haven't actually started it yet, but I was planning on starting it tonight, but I haven't started it yet. There's going to be you'll be able to use your iron coin to vote for it and actually do it. I'm hoping to do a 12-hour stream soon. I wasn't actually going to announce this tonight, but if you're happy for me to announce it, I'll go ahead. Which is so it's a 12-hour stream where I start at 10 p.m. and then at 11 p.m. a guest will come on and join me on Zoom. And then we'll start chatting. And it won't be questions. It'll just be, we'll start chatting. Just like me and David are doing now. We'll just start chatting. And then at 12, another person will join. So there'll be 3 of us. And so on until there are 12 of us. After 12 whole hours, there'll be 12 of us on stream. All cosplayers, all chatting. All from different cosplays. It doesn't have to be 40k. It could be anything. I don't care if people are painting on stream, if they're just chilling in their office, if they're chatting, if they're cutting foam. As long as they're not dremeling and heat gunning like mid-stream, like, what? I can't hear you just dremeling. You know, that I would love that. Like, you know, get people on and do a 12-hour stream. Now, I've also got plans to actually see if people want to do this. So what I've done is on my Discord... so I'll actually do that now. If I go like that and go Discord on my Discord, if you guys say again,
I'll do it.
Absolutely. Well, there you go. I've got David. If you jump onto my Discord, there is a section there which has the entire plan on there. If you just use your reactions and thumbs up. The one you like, or put the poop emoji if you don't like it, but thumbs up if you like it. And if I get enough responses on my Discord of people genuinely who like the idea, I'm going to run on my next few Q&A streams. I'm going to run the actual full-on. You'll be able to use your iron coin to vote for it, and if I reach my goal, then I will 100% do it. And all I need to do then is I need to get 12 guests, but the way it's going to work is the first guest that comes on at 11 will be there for 10 hours. So whoever's on first has to be there for the whole thing, but whoever's on last gets an hour.
Just rocks up for the last hour.
You know what I mean? So if someone's just like, oh, I have an hour to spare, then they can do it. But it'll start at 10 a.m. I'm thinking 10 a.m. And it'll go all the way to 10 p.m. And I'm thinking of doing it for an entire day. And I think that would be really cool. So again, if you guys want to jump on to Discord and have a look at that, I nothing's in like concrete yet, nothing's like solid, but I'm getting people interested in it, see if they like it, and then hopefully I'll be able to do it. Anyway, there's the announcement. I wasn't actually planning on doing that tonight, but genuinely, thanks for that. Really appreciate that. But yeah, your funniest cosplay story. Like, I know you have a million.
Like, we've done a few just now, but there's lots of weird stuff that's happened, funny stuff. I don't know. It's hard to just pluck something out of the air when there's like so many random things that we've done.
It is absolutely awesome. I mean, you don't. I mean, if it's genuinely, if you think of one, let me know. We can go back to it. But there's
we'll do that in the 12-hour stream.
We can do that in the 12-hour one. We can just talk about anything in the 12-hour one. That'd be absolutely insane.
What we'll do is we'll also make Dufford drink for 12 hours as part of that.
We'll do a drinking stream as well. Just do a drinking stream. That'd be absolutely awesome. Do you know what? I will actually ask you this. This is one of my newer questions. Is Warhammer something that's had a huge impact on your life?
Yeah, of course. I was literally a kid 30 years ago when I got handed a blister pack and a box set. The blister pack was 3 Space Marines heavies, and the box set was undead skeletons, pack of 20 skeletons. So this is back in 1990.
2 years before I was born.
Like, yeah, right. And I was 8 years old, and at school, and at my particular school, the headmaster bought everyone a Christmas present every year, and he bought me Warhammer, and he bought my brother Warhammer, and 2 or 3 other boys were like, "This is cool, get this." And I didn't know what I wanted, so I was like, "Can I get what they're having, please?" Yeah. But I don't know if I like Fantasy or Space Marines, so he got me both. And I really sadly traded my Space Marines with my brother for some other stuff, but they were cool and I definitely should have kept them. But my skeletons, I still have and they're in a cabinet with about 5,000 points worth
Your
of
huge glass
other
cabinet with the
undead
lights
army.
in it.
I have a vast undead army and chaos army and space marines and a huge wah of orcs.
It's legendary. It's legendary. You have your giant orc stomper as well, don't you?
Oh,
That thing's a
do you want to see
beast.
him?
Yeah, cool. If you can get him, I'd love to see him.
He's just there. Literally, a couple of weeks ago, fell off the shelf. So I had to remake him, but you wouldn't even know he was any different. 2 seconds.
Absolutely. But obviously, for those of you who are interested in the 12-hour stream, please let me know, because 12 hours is a good chunk of stream, and it's absolutely something I've wanted to do for some time. If the 12-hour stream goes successfully, I'm actually thinking about doing a 12-hour charity stream afterwards, which is another thing I'm planning. But there's a lot of ideas and stuff I've got, so we'll see. Check it out. There you go. Look, one of the feet. Look at that. The feet are... Oh, wow. That is insane. The feet are rhinos. That is...
Yeah, the feet are rhinos. And basically, I had tons of odd bits and pieces, so I just started gluing them all together. And it was on the back of an Instagram challenge to just make random orc stuff for October.
October. I love October.
I just blasted this guy out. And I mean, that's actually part of the toilet system. that massive gun is part of the toilet.
That is legendary.
The main body is a box that had all my glue sticks in it. The teeth are out of a Christmas cracker. They're the little plastic shapes that you make into little puzzles.
Man alive.
It's just all kinds of junk that I had. So yeah.
But the thing is that kind of thing, it sometimes that kind of thing looks better than what you can buy. It's crazy.
I posted loads of pictures of him on my Instagram, and just people, especially when I just finished sticking him together and undercoating him, and they were like, "Where can I get this?" I was like, "No, this is unique. You'll never get something like this again because it's literally all the junk that I had to hand."
You literally have to buy that one if you wanted that one.
Yeah, like he is the only one because I used 2 rhinos for his feet, but I used bits of broken tanks from when I was a kid. I collected loads of airfix stuff, and I had loads of broken tanks in the drawer. So his kneecaps are tanks, as you can see.
So cool.
On both sides.
They're actually tanks.
So yeah, one leg is a jeep, one leg is a tank.
Man alive.
It's just, yeah, the whole thing's just nuts.
And obviously now you've gone from that, obviously, to your 3D printing as well, haven't you?
Oh, yeah. Well, let me put this guy down. Hopefully not drop.
Obviously, for those of you who have been keen-eyed, you can see that David has a CR10S in the background there that he recently purchased and built a legendary Warlord Titan.
This guy. I just took his head off. His head's magnetized.
Oh, such a cool... And that is a Nurgle Titan, if I'm right.
Yeah, hence the extra eyes.
Hence the extra eyes. It's so cool. It honestly, the giant lobster claw arm and everything, it's just so cool.
I gave him little crap claw arms.
Oh, the tiny ones at the front. Yeah, they're really cool.
Next to his head, basically. I don't know if you can see that. I've posted, he's on my Instagram, so there's loads of pictures of him.
Oh yeah, if you guys jump to his Instagram and you want to see that, that is absolutely brilliant.
The plan was, he was going to be called the Lord of Spiders, but actually he's turning into the Lord of Crabs. So yeah, he's literally, I've covered him with bits and pieces, like I'm just sitting there seeing anything on one shoulder, but just behind it, I 3D printed the Snalian. I don't know if people have heard of that, but basically somebody was like, what happens if the alien ate the snail? And it's a snail's shell with an alien head coming out of it.
It's so badass.
He's there, he's on his shoulder. Tiny little snail.
And all the detail photos of that now are on your Instagram now. They like all the fine detail ones, and also the build photos of it as well are also on your Instagram as well. And also for those of you who can see, David has been 3D printing something quite recently, and also now we can segue into you do commissions now, don't you?
I mean, I do. this is a half a pulse rifle from Alien that I'm just printing for a friend.
As you guys can
I
see,
haven't cleaned it all up yet,
his
but
CR10S does really well. Like,
this is.
it's
I was just saying
insane.
to Joffrey, this is solid. Like, and it's not actually solid; it's completely hollow. But the just the printing capability of this printer is phenomenal. When you get your settings right, you can make stuff that is just so detailed and indestructible. And I print minis with it as well. So I've said to some people that I won't print them certain minis because detailing is difficult and I don't want to disappoint them.
Yeah.
But at the same time,
Like basically, the bigger it is, the better, really.
yeah, well, I was going to say, I haven't got him behind me. I printed out some little scale guides, basically look like obliterators. They came out beautifully. I've printed an orc warlord that's this big, and he's so detailed and like all kinds of stuff. But I can highly recommend this printer. They're not even expensive, like 300 quid, you know. And the filament now is like 16 quid a roll. It's just the time it takes.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
slow. You can't just click
Exactly.
and it's there. It just takes like that took 2 days. But you know, it's awesome.
If people wanted to contact you for commissions, do they do that via your Facebook page or your Instagram?
Yeah. Either is fine.
Either? Both? Awesome.
Just pop me a message if you've got a file in mind. Bear in mind where you're getting it from, of course, but legal disclaimer or whatever.
Yeah. Obviously, make sure it's not copyrighted or anything.
You know, I'm happy to just print stuff for people if they've got a file in mind. If they've got it off Thingiverse, they can just credit the person afterwards because you can donate on Thingiverse, but you can also share the prints. So once it's finished, do it up nicely, send them a photo of it. They're really appreciative of that anyway. And I tend to share, if I've printed something, I'll always post with all the links to the person who created, just to give them the credit that's due.
Ranger Creek Cosplay, commission our boy. Also, Raven, Warp Raven has said that would be a smart gun. Wink. Wink. I love that. Bigger the better, because, you know, bigger the better. I absolutely love that. But genuinely, last question, even though I haven't really asked you all of these, like I knew this stream wouldn't like go like the like most of my streams, like where I actually ask all these and then at the end normally I ask all the questions and at the end I do the whole like long tangent thing, but honestly, this has been like a huge catch up. This has been really great. Like this is as much as this has been a stream, it's also been like I've missed you. Like what the fuck? Like it's been absolutely awesome. For those of you who don't know as well, I had Angel on the other day. The one she did the amazing fawn makeup. Remember do you guys remember the spider and everything that she did with the cobwebs and everything down the side? David and Angel are a couple. They live together. They are together. Like that's like this is the coolest thing. I had Angel on first, and then I had David on, but then in between I had some other guests as well to make sure that obviously I didn't go like David Angel and just like ask everyone in the same household. But honestly,
It'll be the boy next.
yeah, it'll be the boy next, and it'll be just like here's my toy collection, and I'd be like, interesting. I'm like, is that a truck? I like that truck. That's a good truck. But my last question to you is, where can we find you? Where can we find you online?
Right, you've got my links. I'm Exeter Cosplay on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter. I'm at Roth1982. And on YouTube, I'm just David Roth, all lowercase. And you'll know it when you find it because it's all Space Marine stuff at the moment.
Also, Harry managed to find your YouTube link, and also he's just posted Angel's links as well. So if you guys want to go follow Lady Valentine as well and support everybody, it's absolutely awesome of you guys to do.
Yeah.
And obviously,
in terms of what I post, is weird mix. It's mostly Warhammer, but also sometimes just random stuff. So lots of whiskey photos too.
Oh yeah, this man and his whiskey. I love whiskey. You like. Oh, I just don't. I'm not going to get started on whiskey. But genuinely, can I say like a proper thank you so much for jumping on and taking the time to like. We've been going for over 2 hours now, so it's been absolutely fantastic. Yeah. This has been awesome.
It's really good to catch up.
I would really love if you would jump on as like one of my first 12-hour guest streams. If the 12-hour guest stream does go through and people do want it, obviously I'll arrange a day where I have the entire workshop for 12 hours, and
Definitely.
honestly, it would be just fantastic. And obviously, then I'll need another bunch of guests as well. Obviously, I'll need 11 guests altogether, and then including myself is number 12. So that's how I'll do it. And obviously, it'll go for 12 hours. So, if it starts really early in the morning for us, it starts at like 10 a.m. for us, we might even be able to get some American guests in and do a whole thing.
Australian as well?
And maybe Australian. I was literally about to go like American guest, and then I was going to go and maybe Australian if he's still in chat. But honestly, this has actually been fantastic, and I want to genuinely say a huge thank you, because I've looked up to you for so long when I saw you in Big Red for the first time, and now look at me. I've got 6,000 followers and another 3,000 on Instagram, and I've got all this stuff, and I've made props, and look, Harry made me a shovel.
Yeah.
This is from Angel. I got great art. Angel made me this for my birthday.
I was going to say that was Angel's, yeah.
It's just, honestly, it's a community and the friends that I've made and stuff, and I wouldn't be doing this now if it hadn't been for your sort of shove into the chaos side of things. So
everybody loves a little bit of chaos.
Chaos is just amazing. Just you wait, by the way. Ranger Krieg is doing an Iron Guardsman, so it's going to be a Chaos Iron Guardsman. He's going to be my spot in. Nice. Yeah.
Wait, because my other thing that I said I was going to get started on. I'm doing my little Plague Guardsman as well.
Yeah, boy. This is going to be awesome.
Sneaky Plague Guardsman.
This is going to be awesome. I can't wait.
I love the Death Guard, but I was just like, I should definitely have a little Guardsman cosplay, but with maybe the odd tentacle.
Oh man, honestly, I cannot wait. I cannot wait. I'm obviously going to be doing my my 601st armor. The neon orange armor. I'm going to be doing that at some point and get that sorted. That'll be really, really fun to do. And hopefully be able to finish the heavy bolter, which I've still sorted out. I've got a box coming for it and everything. There's a lot of stuff I need to do. But genuinely, there's a few things I want to sort out before we go. I want to say a huge thank you to David Roth, Exeter Cosplay, for coming on. Another one is after this stream, we will be jumping over to Discord. Tonight, basically, I've decided, because I have nothing on tonight and I'm literally just chilling out, I thought, once this finishes, if you guys want to jump over to Discord and jump into the voice channel, we can all hang out there. I know B Cosplay says he wants to hang out there. That'll be really cool. We're all going to hang out there and just chill out and chat. So if you guys want to just hang out and chat and chill and just talk shit, you just come on over. And we'll do that. I'm sure Ranger Creek Cosplay and Dragonheart will be there, and I'm sure B Cosplay will be too. I'll be joining as soon as I'm done. Obviously, I'm in the workshop. I have to pack up and get everything sorted and checked away, and then I have to go get food, so get that sorted. And also, there was one more thing. And it's literally just escaped my mind. I hate it when things escape my mind. You watch now. I'm just gonna freak out and forget now. That sucks. I've already forgotten. Never mind.
Just put it in Discord later, man.
Yeah, I'll probably put it in Discord later. But I was gonna do it on stream and I've forgotten what it is. So anyway, genuinely, thank you again, and I really hope that we can do this again soon. If you guys want to hang around for a raid, I'm gonna raid someone. Let's check who's online. Let's see who we got. I've done Lady Venom there. Aeon Gaming I've done. Live Action Pixel I've done. Let's see. Oh, look at that! Artemis Blackfire is on. Our very own Artemis Blackfire is on. So let's raid. Let's raid Artemis Blackfire. So let's see now then. R-A-T-E. Don't tell her that I'm on my way. If you guys can hang around for the raid and spam my emotes and say raid and yay and all that, that'd be absolutely awesome. So Artemis Blackfire, we're going to be raiding. So genuinely, once again, massive thank you to Exeter Cosplay. Honestly, I can't wait for your barbecue. It's going to be amazing. I'm really looking forward to it when COVID obviously stops. But let's hope that happens sometime soon. Thank you again to everyone, and we shall see you all in the Discord. And let's do this now. Let's go. Here we go. Raiding Artemis Blackfire. Make sure you spam my emotes, and we'll raid her in 6, 5, 4. Thank you all again for coming, and we'll see you on the next I'm Warrior Cosplay Q&A. Bye for now.